from the hot air balloon capital of the world. This is Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO Energy, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. The 48th edition of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon, is happening now in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And now, live and direct from the rooftop studio at Balloon Fiesta Park, here are the hosts of Balloon Fiesta Live, Glen Moyer and Lloyd Jr.
And good morning and welcome, everyone. It's day 9 of the 48th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon. And you are watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO, an ExxonMobil subsidiary. I'm Glen Moyer. Alongside me, as always, my colleague, Lloyd Jr. Good morning, Art.
Good morning. I don't need these sunglasses quite yet.
Probably not.
Sunrise about an hour away, but it's already time for Pilot's Briefing, so let's go out there live and see what's happening at Pilot's Briefing this morning.
Let's go.
Feel the love? Wow, what love have we had this week? Everybody's been sharing love and receiving love. It's been a fantastic week. We're on day 9, Sunday, October the 13th, and sunrise today will be at 7:11. Hey, we're going to do this one last time for everybody out in the wild world to see us. Let's welcome Balloon Fiesta Live to the tower. Say hello, everybody. That's some fantastic coverage we're getting. There's over 38 hours on the YouTube channel and over 661,000 views as of today. And those numbers will only go up because you can link and share those with all your friends to see. And or you, when you get back home, can go back and look at previous flights and activities. It's a great way to share what we do here to the wild world. Thank you, Balloon Fiesta Live, for being here. All right, how about yesterday's flight? Some of us flew to the south, got to see a little bit of the city. Some of us flew to the northwest, got to partake in a splash and dash, or landing out to the northwest of here. And then some of us sent us some videos from above, or pictures from above, looking straight down. Some great flights. The crowds that were here were tremendous. One of the best days we've had for a weekend, and y'all know it. Y'all were out there amongst everybody, but it was a fantastic day, great flight, and then we ended yesterday evening with a fantastic glow. Thank you all for yesterday's activities. Now, how about the fireworks that we put on 5 nights in 1 week? That is fantastic. All right, let's do a little weather update from Brad.
All right, good morning, everyone. So I'll start off with an image of the inversion this morning, and you can see that we're dealing with a nice drainage and it's concentrated right in the near surface layer, in that blue layer, and then above it, it's just a real graduated inversion. If you look on the far right-hand side of this image, that comes to us from NOAA. They've been out here all week doing drone coverage, so we really appreciate having them on site this week. Yeah, you can give them applause. That's great. So I'll start with the latest observations from across the area here. Let's go down to Sunport first. Temperature of 47 degrees, dew point 33. Relative humidity 61%. Winds are out of the southeast at 140 at 3 knots. And the barometric pressure is 30.10 inches or 1,020 millibars. Jumping over to Double Eagle, temperature is 37 degrees, dew point 24. Relative humidity 56%. Let's see here, barometric pressure is 30.11 inches of mercury, and the wind was 320 at 6 knots. Forecast for basically, let's go Sunport first, and Double Eagle both runs through 1 o'clock this afternoon. Forecast for Sunport is 140 at 6 knots. Visibility greater than 6 miles and skies clear. Over at Double Eagle, 330 at 6 knots. Visibility greater than 6 miles and skies conditions clear. So here's kind of what we've got going on across the United States. I know there's a lot of H's and L's on this map, but don't get too worried about that. The point is that that system that's got really wrapped up and has brought a lot of snow precipitation to the upper Midwest is going to continue to lift off to the north and east and become less of an issue throughout the day. So those traveling or flying back through the Twin Cities maybe this morning might experience a few delays, but I wouldn't expect that to continue as that system works its way off to the northeast. The other concern is maybe a few showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the East Coast, especially the southeast. But otherwise, we're looking at a fairly quiet weather pattern. Locally here, generally dealing with weak high pressure across the area, so it should be a very, very nice morning for us this morning. Jumping over to the detect winds, you can see that in general we have some very, very light drainage that's developed in the near surface layer, say over the last half an hour, 45 minutes. And that's pretty typical when we see the drainage. It doesn't develop typically till right around briefing time or so. Looking at the observations over the last few hours, it hasn't been ideal for the drainage to set up. We've struggled to get the north wind to flow down the valley from way up near Santa Fe. And so there hasn't been a strong temperature differential between us and Santa Fe. So given that that's the case, I wouldn't expect the drainage to be near as strong as what we've seen the last 2 mornings, and it should be a really, really great box morning. So so it should be a lighter winds in the near surface layer, and even if you look above that with the southerly flow, that should be very light as well. So really showing you the inversion. The inversion isn't that much of a significant issue for us this morning, because basically in the lowest 2,000 feet you should be dealing with 5 knots or less throughout the morning. So it should be really, really nice. Like I said, in general, the winds should be out of the north in the nearest 500 feet. Then running 500 to like 2,000 feet or so should be that wind out of the south, pushing you back to the north. And then if you go above that, winds will be out of the northwest, pushing you back to the southeast, so you could actually box back toward the mountain if you so choose. Let's see here. Outlook for Gallup for tomorrow morning generally still looks to be light southerly winds on the near surface layer, fairly strong inversion. Temperatures probably running in the upper 30s on the surface, but there is, like I said, a fairly strong inversion, so that should hold that winds aloft for a little while throughout the morning. It does look like that there's going to be some speed just above the surface, westerly winds, probably running in the 15 to 20 mile per hour range. And as with the clear skies out there, temperature should warm into the mid to upper 60s. It looks like a really nice day over there. With that, let's see here. I'll just go over some winds aloft here, jumping back to that. So here's the latest wind information off the profiler. At 250 feet, we have a wind direction of 13 and a speed of 3. At 500 feet, wind of 5 and speed of 2. At 800 feet, a wind of 117 at 1. 1,000 feet, wind at 150, basically at 5 knots. Let's jump up to 1,400 feet, winds 319 at 3 knots. Let's see here, go down to 1,800 feet, winds 337 at 5 knots. 2,200 feet, winds of 330 at 7 knots. 2,500 feet, winds of 330 at 15 knots. That's where we actually start to pick up a little bit of speed. And jumping up to 3,000 feet, winds of 320 at 16 knots. Okay, my weather helper this morning is Jaden McCowan, 8 years old. And he's 8 years old today. It is his birthday. And he goes to Zia Elementary School, and he's in 2nd grade. So while he does the launch, we'll sing happy birthday. But is there a launch instructor in the area that will help Jaden launch? Okay, let it go whenever you're ready. Let it go. Nice job. Okay. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jaden. Happy birthday to you. All right. Nice job.
All right, dude.
Give me 5.
How awesome is that?
That is fabulous. That is fabulous. Happy birthday to Jaden.
Absolutely.
And he couldn't be here on a better day.
And that's a new thing that Brad and his team have started, having a weather helper, and it's just a young person they pick out of the crowd every morning at random. And
they found a birthday boy.
How cool is that? Absolutely.
Well. Absolutely. So as you heard Brad explain to the pilots this morning, we expect a very nice slow box. As we were looking through the numbers, he was showing the detect winds. That's our wind radar system that measures the wind up and down, and nothing fast up there at all today.
It's very slow.
And multiple directions.
Hey, we're going to move on to Dawn Patrol in just a moment, but before we do, we've talked a little bit about some, and he has a curious look on his face, we've talked a little bit about some bonus programming. Well, Art is our executive producer. He's the guy that puts this whole thing together, does an amazing job, works tirelessly for 24/7, it seems, the whole 9 days. But he really gets into the music intro here in the mornings. And so we have a little behind-the-scenes bonus program for you. So, Art, enjoy it, my friend. Here we go.
Oh, so you got to play the music that goes with this, though, you know. This is during the open that you're seeing, you know, Balloon Fiesta Live, etc. So, yeah.
It happens every time we should go on the air.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't have the music, but every time we sign on, you can see I was paying no attention whatsoever, but he is just rocking out over here. And congratulations on a great week. Job well done. You really produced an outstanding show.
Well, it's only because of the great teamwork, great announcer partner, all the folks that have helped me with Windfire Productions, and actually all the cooperation of the officials as well, being able to get pilots briefing to you as well with the folks of Henry Rosenbaum, etc. Everyone's been great to cooperate, getting us in the target areas, so thanks to all of them. But enough of that. Let's get on with the show.
Okay, let's go. It is time for the 24th anniversary edition of the Dawn Patrol Show, which is brought to you by Route 66 Casino Hotel and RV Park.
Dawn Patrol Show, this is Dawn Announced. We are ready for Fans On. Dawn Patrol, Fans On.
Let's go, gentlemen.
So they'll be starting their fans now that we have given them the command.
That's a nice shot. We're looking back at the museum behind us, which is just right outside the main south entrance to Balloon Fiesta Park. And they have their own little viewing parties over there. Those two rooms on the left of your screen as you're looking at it there. They have breakfast and balloons over there, and you can see the beautiful skylight window in the front with the neon lights also in it. A real world-class museum. Anytime you're in the city of Albuquerque, a great place to go and visit to see a great bit of ballooning history. And they also house the International Ballooning Hall of Fame from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale.
And the tall part of the building there, the Grand Hall, replicas and the actual pieces of some of our world record ballooning accomplishments.
And the whole design, if you approach from the other side, the main entrance, is it resembles a hot air balloon, cold inflating, lying on its side just before going hot and standing up.
As we're seeing right here, our Dawn Patrol show
with our Dawn Patrol team
started their fans.
Beginning to pack the envelopes with cold air or ambient air, which does happen to be cold, although it is considerably warmer this morning than the last 2 days, thankfully.
44 degrees. Yeah, I'm back to one layer of jacket this morning.
I brought the jacket just in case with the fleece, but I may be climbing out of it shortly, but it was...
it was like 34 when we started yesterday, so it's at least 10 degrees warmer
today. And the day before
today.
it was 32 on the set, so yeah, it's definitely warmer. It feels much better.
So we might as well go ahead, and we actually heard Henry update the pilots out there. Mm-hmm. We have more than 38 hours of programming on the air.
That's right.
From this year alone, approaching 700,000 views. Haven't counted up the shares or any of those. And we told you that we were going to do it. We did do it. We put the awards banquet. We recorded that live yesterday.
Yeah.
And that is now up for viewership. Actually, we posted it, and then it was an hour before I could kind of get it in its right place and all that other stuff. And already 2,000 people had checked it out.
Well, and a couple of folks also shared it onto Facebook, because I saw it there and watched just the very first little bit of intro and then had to move on to some other things. But looking forward to going back and seeing that.
At the awards banquet or brunch yesterday, we did hand out the awards, obviously. Of course, on Monday, we had our Sid Cutter memorial task, where the idea was to fly into the field, drop your marker as close to on the bow of the boat. If it fell off the boat, that wasn't good. You needed to stay on the boat. And the 3 folks actually got their marker in the boat. Nobody was right on the bow, but it's the closest.
That's
so
right.
in third place, Tomas Hora, who won $500. Blair Kaufman picked up $1,000 for his second place throw. And Maury Petrin, our 2-time champion, said this is the only thing he hadn't won here. Number one.
He won it, and he got off to a great start, because that was our first competitive task, and he was in first place, and he really, really, really wanted to be the first person to ever three-peat here. but the rest of the week did not go so well for him, and he didn't, and rather remarkably, didn't even finish in the top 10, which I know is great disappointing for him.
But he was happy to get the boat because he had never won the boat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to diminish what he did. I just know he was really psyched.
Yeah, he was
to try
psyched
and
to get
three-peat.
He was.
And we had some difficult flying this week for the competitors. So it was quite a challenge. We had a lot of people in the in the top 10 who had not been there before. So it was kind of surprising. There was some interesting results this week.
Well, there they are right there. In 10th place, Travis Gauthier. In 9th place, Lane Walters. 8th place, Sean Rea. Tied for 6th, Meg Skelton and Mark Trianis. Sandy Graff came in 5th. Daniel Liberty at 4th. Bruce Wood at 3rd. Brandon Bloom at 2nd. And our overall champion, Chris Liberty, winning $10,000.
There's some enthusiasm out there.
There we go.
This was, I was talking to Richard Saban, and this was Sandy Graff's second time to be in the top 10.
Oh, great.
So really proud of her.
So we're just waiting for the final balloons to be cold packed and ready, and the all clear from Scott Vesley.
Once that happens, we'll hear the command for flicker burns just to begin the hot inflation as the pilots put a few short bursts of flame into the envelopes to begin to heat the air. So you hear our team leader Scott Vesley checking to see if any of his pilots need a few more minutes to cold inflate. Otherwise, I think we're about ready to hit the burners and light them up.
And we are going to attempt our Grand Formation Ascension.
That's right. We did
morning.
that. Was that Wednesday morning? I guess it was.
I think it was Wednesday. We did. Yeah.
And the reaction was spectacular. Are those polar bears on Rick Jones' parachute top there? You see that?
Oh yeah.
Second balloon to the.
I don't remember seeing.
To the right. I don't remember seeing that either. There's the command to light them up. So there goes, and that Rick was the first to flicker burn. It looks like a polar bear and a cub.
And a cub.
I'll have to ask Rick about that. I don't remember seeing that before. There you see the team all lined up. They're all lined up along row M on the balloon launch field. This is from our north camera looking
to the south.
To the south, essentially from behind the balloons, or looking from behind the baskets where the envelopes are
we
laid
can
out.
look up their throat.
Open wide.
As opposed to the shot where we were seeing the polar bear on the top.
Right, yeah. This way we're looking basically downwind, so the wind is coming from the north to the south, as it typically does early in the mornings here, the ground flow. But we're actually beyond that shot. We're on the other side of the balloons that you're seeing here. We're down on the south end of the field. So this is a rather unique view for us. We can actually see both sides of the balloons as we watch this, because we can see the north end on the monitor, and we can see the south end as we look up and watch it in real life.
And from a side as well.
And from a side view with our camera from the stage, the Main Street stage. So
that is team leader Scott Vesley's balloon, the Lighthouse Information Business Systems.
We got you covered from all four sides, or at least all three. So it should be
now that they have stood up.
I was about to say, I think we're both about to say the same thing. We've got everybody up, about time to do our first little bit of a glow this morning.
All right, Dawn Patrol Show. It's time for our first all burn, ladies and gentlemen. Balloons, let's count it down. And all burn in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all burn. Looking good. Looking good. Let's introduce our teams now. Our teams participating in our Dawn Patrol show.
First up is Scott Vesley, who is from Wiley, Texas, and he is our team leader flying Lighthouse Business Information Solutions. Next up is Rick Jones from Concord, New Hampshire, flying High Polarity. Andy Wayner is from El Paso, Texas. He flies the balloon Hubba Bubba. Greg Lindsay is from Stafford, Arizona, flying Floating Oasis. Tim Taylor is flying his balloon D3 from Holiday, Utah. Next up is Brian Carlson. Brian is from Topeka, Kansas, and flies Dreams Fulfilled. And Matthew Grotte from Rio Rancho, New Mexico, flying Jester Unwinds. Next is Dale Ruth from Albuquerque, New Mexico, flying Dawn's Delight. Next up is Tim Cloyd from Runnels, Iowa. He flies the balloon called Glorious Drifter. And finally, Chuck Schick from Bosque Farms, New Mexico, in the balloon Brilliant Shadow.
Patrol team, I want to say regular launch, 22 regular launch. One each balloon individually, no grand ascension.
So we just heard from team leader. They have just changed the launch plans. We'll be doing our standard launch here.
Just launch individually, please. Thank you.
Dawn Patrol team, can we get an all burn, please? Dawn Patrol all burn in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all burn. Looking good. Looking great, actually.
Launch individually, no grand ascension. 22 no grand ascension.
Before we send our balloons to the sky, let's get a flicker burn from our Dawn Patrol team. A flicker burn in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, flicker. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Dawn Patrol team, you are cleared for your individual launches. Your individual launches with your launch director. See you in the sky.
Thank you, Don and Al. Great job, team. Everybody, be careful out there. Have a nice flight.
Once again, a reminder, the Dawn Patrol Show is presented to you by Route 66 Casino Hotel and RV Park as we begin our launches this morning. We're feeling just a little bit of that drainage wind beginning to flow through the park right now. And you can see the pennants on Scott's balloon beginning to blow just slightly there. Nothing to be concerned about, but it was for that reason that they decided to cancel the plans for the mass launch, the coordinated launch all at the same time.
Well, when we do that, we really pack the balloons close together and then all take off at the same time. And it's a challenge to be able to fly that close, keeping your balloon at the same altitude as the others. And there we go.
And as the balloons go aloft, you see they have they begin to deploy their marker lights, which will be dropped eventually below the basket once they get just a little. There you go. See the light falling now not falling, but being
lowered,
deployed, lowered down below the basket as required by the Federal Aviation regulations. That looks to have been probably Rick Jones.
It is. And drifting very slowly to the south.
Yep.
And off the west end, looks like Chuck Schick is airborne. Yep.
Oh, he is, yeah.
So,
I see his marker lights. He's not glowing, so I couldn't see the balloon for a moment. There he is.
That's Chuck right there. So launching from both ends this morning.
Can everybody hear me?
There goes Tim Cloyd.
Yep, flying Glorious Drifter. Tim is a member of the board of directors of the Balloon Federation of America. He also has those lights on his crown lines there, which adds a little bit of extra fun. Oh, look at those flashing lights on the basket.
He's got all kinds of lights.
Tim's just all lit up there, isn't he?
I do like that. And looks like a double crown line as well.
Yeah, it
so
looks
you
like
get
it has
an
a double
extra
crown.
one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to remember that for, we like to do glows around Christmas time here. And putting a line like that on the crown line, I think is something we're going to investigate. Andy Wayner in Hubba Bubba off from the east side.
I used to do a thing, not for Dawn Patrol or glows, but I used to tie long tissue paper streamers to each of my uprights. And then as we launched, they just sort of, and you lay them on the ground, and then as you launch, they just slowly unfurl.
Oh, nice.
And you have about 40 or 50 feet of colored streamer following you through the sky there. Just have a lot of fun doing that.
Great shot of the balloon taking off, and you couldn't see it until the burner was on.
Right.
So you get an idea of how dark it truly is.
Yep. That's Gary Lindsay in
Greg Lindsay.
Greg Lindsay, sorry, in Floating Oasis. Not Oasis, but Oasis, as in floating away. With that beautiful desert scene on it there with the saguaro cactus.
And I see Dale Ruth in Dawn's Delight off the west side of the field.
That's a great shot of Main Street with the Sandias in the background.
I love we can hear the cheers go up as each balloon gets in
each balloon goes
the sky.
Yeah.
Chester unwinds. Matt Grotee. Lots of hoops and hollers going on down there.
They must have a pretty good crowd down there again this morning.
And it's still pretty slow as they drift to the south.
Eric Gordon commenting on Facebook says all Christmassy.
Yeah. Look at that. What a nice morning.
Dawn Patrol flicker. 3, 2, 1, flicker.
There we go. That's an awesome show.
There we go. More lights.
More lights. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting into this light thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about in the dark. You need some lights. Might as well light everything up.
All glow. 3, 2, 1, glow.
Going to be a nice, slow, boxy morning.
Looks like
Just
it, yeah.
kind of relax and hang out in the sky.
Just the way you kind of would like to wrap up this 48th Balloon Fiesta. For those viewing who may not know, a lot of people have already commented about it, but today is the final day. This is our last morning of ballooning here at the 48th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta presented by Canon. And already the countdown clock is running toward 2020 and year 49.
Dawn Patrol, all burn. 3, 2, 1.
There's a great shot of Dawn Patrol. Our production team, Windfire Productions, have just done such an amazing job. They really, really have. I mean, this is just top quality broadcast material as far as I'm concerned.
And if you're keeping track, it is only 356 days.
Yeah.
Appropriately enough, next year's theme, Time Flies.
3, 2, 1.
We revealed the new bumper sticker yesterday here
With
on
the
Balloon
theme
Fiesta
Time
Live.
Flies, and then I was sharing last night a Facebook meme that a friend posted that said, "Time flies, but you're the pilot." And I think that's so apropos for what we're doing out here.
And there's Tim Taylor.
You guys look beautiful. Everybody ready for another all burn? 3, 2, 1, all burn.
And that is Tim Taylor calling the glows from the sky this morning.
Scott Vesley, our team leader, has a lot of miles to travel, and so he's was standing. I'm not sure if he still is there on the ground.
Looks like he may have deflated
but
up there already.
he has to leave town very early this morning, and so he's not flying. And so Tim Taylor is stepping in as our aerial team leader.
Tim coordinates our uncoordinated glows throughout the week when we don't do the fancy ones here.
Control, all burn. 3, 2, 1, all burn.
What a fabulous shot.
Yeah, look at that. They do look a little bit like little Christmas ornaments just hanging in the sky there this morning. Just a reminder, folks, you are watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO Energy, an ExxonMobil subsidiary. And we'd like to thank them for coming on board as a fantastic sponsor for our broadcast this year. First time to have XTO Energy with us, but hopefully we begin what will be, as they like to say at the end of the movie Casablanca, hopefully this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
And relationship, you bet.
Well, a friendship is a relationship.
Well, sure.
Sorry, it's the editor in me.
I'm trying to provide value added and you're editing it out.
That's right.
There
Hey,
you
you added, we already saw your value added performance earlier. We're going to have to work that clip into the Open for next year. You know that, don't you?
We might. We might. Hey, but I edit the Open, so
well,
the close.
Yeah, but I've
taken on those chores too. But you know, it's cool because I actually learned a little bit more about a different video program. I used to do all my stuff in iMovie, and I'm moving to Final Cut Pro now.
I know how to get in touch with Gary, so I think maybe we could.
You can still slip it in.
Slip something in, perhaps.
Oops, we hit the wrong button in the wrong video.
Oh, darn.
Play. Gosh, we got to watch our dance.
Yeah. That somebody asked about a blooper reel yesterday, so
I know.
I think that's our first piece.
That's the first one. We do enough of them live, man.
Our first piece for our blooper reel. I like that.
You can go back to the airport.
They're all just kind of hanging together there.
Yeah, not really traveling a lot.
3, 2, 1, all burn.
I can tell we're getting closer to sunrise because it's actually dropped a couple of degrees.
Yep.
And that typically happens. You'll see the temperature dip by a few degrees just right before the sun comes up. That's actually just a little weather trivia for you. The coldest time of every day is just a few minutes before sunrise. Strange how that happens.
And here in this river valley, that's also when these drainage winds tend to pick up a little bit because you're getting that cold air. It starts moving a little faster and literally just kind of draining down the valley from north to south. That's what gives us the low-level winds.
Rachel,
so that we can go up high and go back the other way.
Yeah. Rachel Greathouse is commenting on Facebook, says, Art and Glen, I feel like we're family after all the time we've spent together. What do you want for Christmas? I'll send you my list, Rachel.
Well, there you go.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say
It
that.
is, very much so. Hey, as we start to get our Krispy Kreme balloons inflated here, let's say goodbye to the Dawn Patrol show this morning. They'll be just hanging out above us, but Dawn announced to Dawn Patrol team, you guys are doing a great job up there. Looks great. We're going to cut you loose. Have a great, safe flight. We'll see you next year.
For announcing for us this year, we really appreciate it.
So once
Thank you,
again,
guys. Dawn Patrol, all glow. 3, 2, 1 on that one.
and so once again, ladies and gentlemen, a thank you to our Dawn Patrol sponsor of Dawn Patrol show. That is the Route 66 Casino Hotel and RV Park. We'd like to thank so many of you for tuning in early on Balloon Fiesta Live, and of course all of you who have turned up here at Balloon Fiesta Park early this morning and all week long for our Dawn Patrol shows. And yeah, great job, team, and we look forward to seeing and working with you all again next year. Feels a little bittersweet saying that, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. You know, regardless of the amount of hours and time that's in here, and it's tired, and oh man, I got to get up again at
3:30
3:00
again. What?
So yeah, but now that we're here on the final day of the 2019 Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta presented by Canon, we're excited for the day and sad that it's over.
Yeah,
We have to wait 356 days to do it again.
Yeah, I actually gave myself the luxury of sleeping in till almost 4 a.m. this morning.
Wow.
I know.
The nice thing is after we got up this morning, of course, I've just let the alarm go. In fact, the radio just plays while we're leaving the house. But after I got up this morning, I went over and I actually turned it off, so I won't forget.
So it doesn't go off tomorrow morning.
It's not going to go off tomorrow morning, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, sadly, I won't be getting up at 3:30 or 4, but I'll be getting on the road early. I've got a 2-day drive to get back home, and then a quick turnaround, and then I head down to Austin, Texas, to Liberty Hill, Texas, for a small balloon event there.
And you know, one of the things that we heard Brad T. Moyer refer to in the pilot briefing this morning.
Oh, yeah, I picked up on that.
He was given a forecast for Gallup, New Mexico for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you would say, what the heck? Why are we talking about Gallup, New Mexico? It's about 3 hours to the west.
Yes.
But the fact is that
There'll
a number
be
of years.
a mini balloon rally there tomorrow.
There will be. This started many years ago. I don't even know how many years ago. The balloonists that were going home towards Nevada and California, Arizona area. So they said, you know what? Gallup, New Mexico is a fabulous place to fly balloons.
Well, it's home of the Red Rocks Canyons,
Yes.
which is essentially a set of finger canyons. It's like if you take your hand and spread it out, they have these huge rock formations, and then spaces in between, and you can literally, it's like flying up and over the fingers of your hand.
It is.
And you can drop down into these open areas and then climb back up and climb over the rocks and drop back down.
And beautiful red rocks.
Red Rock, it's a gorgeous place to fly. I actually, some years ago, went out after Balloon Fiesta here. I brought my balloon out with me, took Yellow Rose, I took Coyote Moon out there. And we went out there and flew in Gallup on that Monday morning. It's an unofficial balloon rally. Red Rocks, of course, hosts its own very fine balloon event, but that's in December.
First weekend of December.
Yeah, so this is an informal gathering, began years ago, but gosh, there may be 20, 30 or more balloons out there tomorrow.
Every year it seems like it gets
bigger and bigger.
And I was watching one of our archive shows from last year just the other day, and I was reminded that there is some official long 17-word name of that rally now.
Oh.
Of course, I can't remember it.
Well, that's like Whammo Bass out in California. It has a really long name. Whammo Bass is what do they call it when you put all like NASA puts all the initials together for everything? Acronyms, right. And Whammo Bass is an acronym, and it has a really long name out in California.
Whammo Bass is long enough by itself.
It is. It's long enough by itself, but each letter stands for a word, and so when you string it all out together, it really does. It really is and it's one of the longest running ballooning events in the nation is Whammo Bass. But yeah, Gallup is a great place to fly. So if you're headed west on Route 66 tomorrow, might want to stop over in Gallup and see some balloons there tomorrow morning.
That's it. Plan your trip over there. So that's why the weather forecast for Gallup, because there'll be a
bunch of the pilots here. We headed there in Gallup. That's a nice shot. I've got some great pictures of my balloon flying there in the only time I ever flew Red Rocks. I was invited many times to go back out and fly in December, but it's a long way out there, and when you get all the way back, then I was living in Texas. When you get all the way back to Texas, and have to turn around and come back out here. It just never seemed to work with my schedule. So it was a great thrill to finally get to go out and fly Red Rock. I only did it the one time.
I've flown it a number of times in December. They also have a rally now in the summertime, May, June, July, depending on when there's a big motorcycle rally goes through there, and they're starting to bring balloons out for that as well.
Cool.
So I have the opportunity to fly every year in December over there. That's always great fun.
And there are ballooning events around the country all year round. So no matter where you are in the country, you can sometimes usually find a ballooning event somewhere going on in the country. I know I'm talking with some folks about the possibility of going out and being part of the Lake Havasu balloon event.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And that takes place, I think, in early January, if I recall properly.
I was there when they opened the London Bridge.
Were you? Yeah.
Yeah, I was still in college. So that tells you how long ago they moved the London Bridge from London to Lake Havasu.
Right.
And marched across the bridge as part of the opening ceremonies. I don't think I've been back since. So I always see great pictures of the flying there, and I always wanted to get over there.
Yeah, we've done a number of articles on the event in Ballooning Magazine, and the flying is just really picturesque. Really, really is.
So we're starting to stand up our Krispy Kreme glow balloons.
Oh, somebody just sent in. Our audience is just incredible. Whammo Bass, for those of you that don't know, is the Whiskey Hill Atherton Menlo Oaks Ballooning and Sporting Society.
Wow.
So there you go. Top that.
There you go.
Thank you for sending that in. Who was that? Rhiannon James sent that to us. Thank you, Rhiannon. We appreciate that. Deke Slayton, or not Deke Slayton, Deke Sonicson, the gentleman who started that event, and very instrumental in the original formation of the Balloon Federation of America as well. Deke's a good friend. I got to meet Deke when I moved out there to California back in the late 80s.
There is Krispy Kreme's banner, Jeff Duff on the left. On the right, the yellow and orange with the black spiral checks going up. That's Steve coughing in Twist of Fate. The red, white, and blue balloon that's right behind him, that when Steve's balloon rocks back the other way, you'll see that.
There it is.
Almost saw it. That is Rod Baca and the Farmers Insurance balloon.
And of course, for our Krispy Kreme mini glow, we have a full baker's dozen of 13 balloons participating in that.
So while we're enjoying the glow, we've been talking about the Zia balloon all week, and Ruth Lind has finally managed to catch up with the group that runs that Zia balloon program. Ruth?
Indeed, I have. I'm here this morning with Tom McConnell, the pilot of the Zia balloon. Now, Tom, you're another one who has grown up in a ballooning family. Was there ever a time in your life where you thought you might not be a balloon pilot one day?
Oh, no. No, I was always destined to do it, just like my dad.
And how old were you when you got your pilot's license?
I was 17.
That's great.
Yeah.
And tell me about how the Zia balloon came into being.
So my dad and I got our first ride back, I believe it was in 1973, and we had a balloon within 90 days. He got bit by the bug. My mom is the one that came up with the idea for the Zia. So this is our fourth balloon. They do wear out, so we've been doing it for quite a while. We've been at almost all the balloon fiestas.
That's absolutely amazing. What, on this particular balloon fiesta, tell me about some highlights of your week.
Well, we've had some really excellent flying weather. I did get to do a splash and dash in the Rio Grande on, I believe it was Tuesday, and I had a friend of mine, I belong to a Civil Air Patrol squadron, and I had one of my friends from Civil Air Patrol with me, and it was his first ride, so he was just really excited. We had a great flight. We've had great flights all week, pretty much. We didn't go yesterday, but looks like we're going to have a great day this morning.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning, and have a great flight today, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Glen, Art, back upstairs.
Thank you, Ruth. And you just saw the top of the yellow sweater there. You can always tell their team because they have these handmade knit sweaters, all yellow with the red Zia in the middle,
like
so it matches the balloon nicely.
Yeah. So. His dad, of course, is Dr. Tom McConnell, and member of the board, past member of the board. Is he still on the board?
He is still on the board.
Okay. I know he's been on the board for a number of years and has authored a couple of really fine safety books about ballooning, and has also been a contributor to Ballooning Magazine for the Balloon Federation of America. So thank you, Dr. Tom. Got a chance to see him down at breakfast a couple of days ago.
I chatted with him down there this morning as well. He's also on the...
Well, I forgot all my badges this morning, and so I couldn't get in.
Oh, no.
I was sleeping in the truck this morning. I'm pretty wore out. It's been a long week, and so I was kind of snoozing in the truck. And when you came to pick me up on our production cart, I got out and threw on another layer of clothes, but walked off and left all of my badges. We don't need no stinking badges. All my badges are in the truck. So when I went to check in to get my my armband so I could go into sponsor hospitality, I went, oh, darn, I left them.
Good thing they know you, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, Bobby was kind enough, our production assistant, your lovely wife, kind enough to go down and grab me some breakfast this morning, since I really technically couldn't get in the door because I didn't even have my all-access pass.
Oh,
So, I mean, I have literally no identification on me whatsoever except my driver's license, and I don't think that'll do any good.
Preparing for the witness protection program, you are.
Yeah. Where's Yoda when you need him? Yeah. And you'd think after 30 years, though, somebody down there would know me, but apparently not.
Still about getting checked in there. It's all about the numbers.
It's all about, having the right badge.
Well, and we'll just move on from there.
Yeah. No, it was no problem. It was fine. It was just, as I say, just a sign of the fact that I think I am getting pretty tired.
So we are about 4 minutes away from the balloon of the day and our national anthem.
And let's see, and who is that today? I can check my calendar thing here, and that would tell us, I bet.
It doesn't.
No, it just says the national anthem is by Mark, and I'm going to let you say his last name because you checked earlier.
Quiroz.
Mark Quiroz, okay.
And Steve Coughing in Twist of Fate is not usually part of our Krispy Kreme morning glow.
Yeah.
So I'm suspecting he might be taking the flag out this morning.
Oh, that could be. Could be. We'll know shortly. We'll see whoever
on the left, that's
carrying the flag.
Morgan Chando, his yellow-orange with the orange and black zigzag through there. I believe that's Keith DeCatch lighting up right in the center, carrying the Nature Valley banner.
Right.
And on the right would be Eric Greenwood, his enchanted balloon with the shape of New Mexico in the red patches, but the banner over the one we're looking at is Visit the USA in your hot air balloon.
I was going to say, how many people remember the Dinah Shore show? See the USA in your Chevrolet. Yeah.
Da, 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 da. I don't remember the words.
I don't either. We're
going to see him online here.
Yeah, someone's going to. The
So
audience will be singing it online here in just a moment.
Yeah,
but we're both showing our age if we can remember that. A lot of people out there probably don't have a clue who Dinah Shore was.
Yeah. Somebody just posted that apparently Doug Gant, the pilot of Hamlet, who was talked about, was kind enough to bring us pins the other day. He just posted a selfie of himself changing the tire on his trailer.
Oh, no.
So he has a flat tire, so hopefully he'll get that taken care of and be here as well. Cupid's Heart and Bird Willie, speaking of Chevrolets, that used to be the balloon for Ed Black Chevrolet here in Albuquerque. Ed Black Chevrolet sold out many, many, many years ago, but the balloon keeps flying on. Probably this might be the third incarnation of it. Yeah, now I can see what's happening there. That is Steve Coughing.
Oh, he's flying for Isleta.
And Isleta
is
the Isleta Resort and Casino is the banner, and they are the balloon of the day, and we are 1 minute away.
Cool.
From the launch of the balloon of the day.
Just quickly noting, I mentioned that I'll be down in near Austin for a little event next weekend, and somebody noting there's also an event coming up in Durango, Colorado. I had an aunt and uncle who used to live in Durango, Colorado, visited there in 1971 when I was a senior in high school. Beautiful, beautiful part of Colorado.
So in just less than a minute, you may have heard that, 30 seconds away from the liftoff of our balloon of the day, Twist of Fate, flown by Steve Coughing for Isleta Resort and Casino, and the singing of our national anthem on our main stage. Please direct your attention to our national anthem in colors, sung by Mark Quiroz. The soulful sounds of the saxophone of Mark Quiroz playing our national anthem, and Steve Coughing taking our flags aloft, and so we are officially underway on day 9.
The final day, and I told you we have just the most incredible viewing audience out there. Virginia Norton says, send us in the words, it's see the USA in your Chevrolet. America's the greatest land of all. So there you go.
I told you we'd have it.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything from Dinah Shore's lyrics to the name of the singing frogs in Jamaica. Man, our audience has just jumped right in there and been right on target with us.
They absolutely have. There's our Rainbow Riders balloons. Scott Appleman and his team putting about 360 people airborne for a balloon flight every single day. Here. Yeah.
9 days, so that's yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah. Want to borrow my? No, I'm not taking my shoes off for you.
No, thank you. Please don't.
Do Rainbow Riders, by the way, operations not only here in Albuquerque, but Colorado Springs, Phoenix, Scottsdale area as well. And of course, there are other fine ride operators around the country. Scott brings many of them in, as we'll see as they get inflated as well. Many of them come in to supplement the Rainbow Riders fleet that operates here in the Southwest. I believe Rainbow Riders is now the largest hot air ride balloon company in the U.S.
I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised at all.
There goes Keith to catch.
Yeah, carrying that Nature Valley banner for our sponsor.
One of the first, it is the first of our Krispy Kreme glow balloons.
Oh yeah, right. First one of them to get airborne this morning.
That's, I guess, an advantage to sign up to do the Krispy Kreme glow.
Well,
you get to be standing up.
Yeah.
And so you're, after the dawn patrol, you're the next ones out.
So if you like flying early and wanting to be ahead of the crowd, yeah, being in the Krispy Kreme glow would be a good thing.
I spot it.
A zebra with a red hat is affectionately known as a zit, or a zebra in training. Zebra for those of you overseas. And there's the happy face we've talked about this week on the parachute top.
So the gal in the zebra stripes without the red hat is our trainer. So an experienced zebra. And that smiley face, Bill Walker's honeydew balloon.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't think I realized until the other day that once that gets a little higher up, there's also a little hand waving with that.
Oh, is there?
With
oh,
that
that's clever.
Smiley face.
I haven't seen that. Look at the crowd again this morning.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be another really big turnout for us here.
Getting the rest of the Krispy Kreme glow Fleet up and out.
Yeah, Cupid's Heart is up and away. Enchanted is up and away. Krispy Kreme is up and away. There you can hear the inflator fan running on
there's
low.
Tristan.
That's Tristan, yeah, getting our one of our 2 XTO balloons inflated.
This one is As Time Flies. And as you can see, we have our camera right there because that is the balloon that flies our balloon cam.
Right,
all
so we'll
week
be
for
getting
us.
some aerial views as soon as they get airborne this morning.
You're looking right up the throat there, basically in the basket, looking past the burners. That's it right there with the red top. Then you get a black stripe, gray stripe, and a lot of white. That is As Time Flies, flying our XTO banner and our balloon cam for us this week.
Now there's a yellow balloon with a Zia in the top, but that is not the McConnell's Zia balloon, I don't believe.
It's not. It's
That
not
is-
because the McConnell's balloon actually
right
has
here in
a
front
red
of us with
top.
a red top. Yeah, there,
That,
there it is.
you know
right
what? That
there.
should be the Fiesta balloon.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
okay.
realize it had a Zia on the top.
That's the first time I've seen it this week, and we've seen that balloon take off several times, but I don't know we've seen it inflate.
So on the left, the yellow one with the red top is the Zia
the
balloon we've
McConnell
been talking
Zia
about.
balloon. There is the top that we're talking
the
about
one we're
now
talking
of
about.
the Fiesta balloon.
And the other yellow one in the mix, perfect. The yellow one on the right is John Bolger's balloon.
And that's our other XTO balloon.
He's the other one with
Yeah.
the XTO. So we got yellow galore here in front. And this person with the red backpack holding on to the crown line. Not a lot to do at this point, but they provide some stabilization while the balloon is on the ground and when it stands up to kind of keep the envelope from just flopping all the way
Yeah.
over the other way.
It's kind of like being a sea anchor, actually.
Or
See
an
that?
air anchor, right?
Or an air anchor.
Sure.
Here my cats are up and active again. My phone starts dinging with my pet cam, starts sending me alerts that things are happening at home.
Must be a lot of people here on the field watching. My streams keeps timing out on me here. I have to keep reloading the page.
I've been watching on my iPhone. I haven't had that problem, but
We're on a different network,
yeah.
so got more folks than normal on the local network here.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't believe there's anything going on with the feed itself, just with
Yeah.
my
no, I've been watching
receiving
the
it.
feed and it looks fine.
Yep, it's back. That or my computer's just getting cold.
That could be. Yeah, it has chilled down a bit this
It
morning.
has.
It was actually, but it's still much more comfortable now. I can actually feel some of the heat off the heater this morning, whereas before, the last 2 days, it's been really brutal up here.
Hey, good morning to Barb Tomlin and Ron Berman.
Yeah,
They've
they're
checked
watching.
in.
Yeah, I saw them check in earlier this morning.
Yeah. Barb's
Malcolm
been
White.
watching all week.
Yep, Malcolm White from over in the Emerald Isle of Ireland checked in early. He was waiting for us to sign on this morning. Good morning, Malcolm.
Now there's a way to spend 9 days. Vicky says we've been here all 9 days from Idaho. When we weren't at the park, we were watching Balloon Fiesta live. There you go. That's the way to do that, I think, especially if you're close by. You come out, you enjoy it in person, and you see a lot. And then you go back and watch Balloon Fiesta live, and you see a whole
things
other angle.
you didn't see. Absolutely.
Heck, I go back and watch Balloon Fiesta live and see stuff that I didn't see when it happened.
Yeah. Well,
There's a nice
and
shot of
what
the.
I'll do. We don't actually run our coverage of Fiesta until the January issue of Ballooning Magazine, and so sometime in December, or maybe late November, before I start working on the story, I'll go back and we watch all of the day's broadcast because that gives me a real good recap of everything that took place. It kind of jogs my memory. And shows me things I forgot to take notes about or whatever.
Sure.
So it's a great resource for me, obviously, with the magazine.
Great shot looking up inside as time flies.
Yeah.
Our red XTO balloon, as I've been referring to it, as opposed to the yellow one. We saw Tristan McLean. You may have noticed he didn't have his arm was kind of all inside the jacket there. That's because on his very first flight. Now there's the Fiesta balloon, and you see the Z at the top.
That had the Z at the top.
Yeah, I never realized.
You know, I didn't either, and I've
seen
seen that balloon for years.
Oh yeah.
Never realized it.
There he is.
There's Tristan.
Hi, Tristan.
Yeah. Waving with his good arm.
With his good Yeah. So his crew got a little overzealous in the celebration after his first flight as a primary pilot here at Balloon Fiesta, which just happened to coincide with the idea of being the balloon of the day, flying the balloon out, so a whole lot of firsts for him, which is something we tend to celebrate in ballooning.
Sure.
Your first ride, your first solo flight, getting your check ride passed, etc. And so they got a little overzealous in doing that and broke his collarbone. Mark Sullivan, by the way, is the board of director member that is flying the Fiesta balloon today.
Oh, okay.
And you see those radio station balloons, Jack 102 and 96. Those are part of commercial ride operations in other parts of the country that have come to work for Rainbow Riders this week.
Yeah, Rhiannon James just asking on the feed, does anyone know what Tracy Barnes is doing these days? Rhiannon, sadly, Tracy passed away some months ago. Back in about January, if I recall, January or February, there was we ran several tributes to him in the magazine, and there's a great documentary that's been done about him. I've not seen it yet.
Yeah.
There's also a wonderful celebration of life with a number of balloonists in Carolina.
We're about to go hot here in our XTO balloon.
We lost one of our great pioneers of the sport of ballooning, was Tracy Barnes.
Although we all still benefit from the innovations that he brought to the sport.
One of the things we've been talking about all week long, the parachute top.
Right.
That was one of Tracy's inventions, and he's always been remembered as being so magnanimous. He could have patented and copied it.
Oh, look at the balloon going by through the top.
He could have patented it and copyrighted it and made it his and for his balloons alone, but he shared it with the balloon world, and it is basically the standard deflation port in balloons built all around the world to this very day.
And there's our As Time Flies XTO balloon, the red one with the white, black, and gray standing up, and as it comes up, there's the XTO banner. Here's the shot what the folks at the balloon basket are seeing as that balloon stands up. Penny Suttle's going to be flying for Tristan today. And look, you can even see the XTO banner through the balloon.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're watching this and getting our balloons inflated here, our Ruth Lind has managed to catch up with the lady that is in charge of making this field work for us. Ruth?
Oh my goodness, Janie Jordan is amazing. She's been the field manager here at Balloon Fiesta for 20 years. And we know that you are in charge of every single physical operation on this field. Tell me about what it's like for you getting ready for Balloon Fiesta, Janie.
It involves a lot getting ready. We have 10 service people that work for full-time, part-time folks that come back every year, and we put up all the fencing, make sure that the electricity is working, all of those construction type things.
And you also keep track of things like heat and supplies for all of the people on the staff who have different trailers and offices?
Yes, we do. We do a lot of moving from one place to another. We are the support for all of the other departments in the company.
Oh my goodness. How did you happen to get this job?
A very good friend of mine, Mr. Sam Baxter, asked me to come to work here. I was relocating back to Albuquerque, and he said, come to work for me, and I did.
Goodness. Well, Janie, we are so lucky to have you here at Balloon Fiesta. You have done a phenomenal job all week, and we're very grateful for your services.
Thank you.
Glenn, Art?
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Janie. Janie, a great person. Her assistant, Damien, as well. They definitely take care of everything here, and they're great to accommodate my requests for what we need to put Balloon Fiesta Live on as well. Another shot of all of our Rainbow Riders balloons all standing up, and down on the far, let's see, that's going to be the west side, finally getting one of them airborne.
There you go, climbing out of that whole fleet there.
As that basket comes out, that's actually, well, it's turned sideways a little bit from our view. So, but you'll see that those baskets are quite a bit bigger, as are the balloons, than most of the rest of our shapes. Actually coming right at us there, you can see the size of the basket.
You can see the number of people inside the basket there.
And while there are subtle differences between the Rainbow Riders balloons, it's not enough that we can pick out who's flying which one, besides the fact they change them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found, had a quick moment yesterday after the award ceremony. longtime friend Brooke Owen came up and said hello. Brooke, I knew Brooke when he was in diapers. Literally, his mom and dad, Brian and Susan Owen, were among my original, very first friends made in Plano, Texas, when I moved there and got started in ballooning. And their son, Brooke, is now a professional ride pilot. He's out, he lives up in New York now, but here flying contract balloon for Rainbow Riders and doing rides. We had a nice little chat yesterday. Wanted to send my best out to Brian and Susan. Hope they're doing well. Don't know if they're watching or not, but hope they're doing well.
We just saw a great shot of the Zia balloon as it became hot, stood up, and then right across the yellow XTO balloon. I should tell you the actual name of the yellow one is Dakota Sunrise. We've been talking about the red one being As Time Flies, but Dakota Sunrise is the name of the yellow one. John Bolger, the pilot on that one, as well as Tom Tollefson. They kind of alternate the duties flying that balloon. They brought us fabulous pictures last, what day was it? Sunday. Last Sunday.
You got me. They all sort of blend together by day 9. It all just seems like one long day.
Yeah, because Tristan was flying the flag on Sunday. We put the balloon in John's balloon and got our first. Actually, I guess he brought us really our first solid balloon.
I think that was our first aerial pictures.
Yeah, we had a few last year.
Well, and Saturday we didn't get to fly on the opening Saturday because of the fog.
Yeah.
And your wife got some incredible pictures, by the way. Of one great shot of the Red Jacket Tower, the officials' tower, with them clearly in the foreground, and then all the balloons behind them disappearing into the fog.
Look at the excitement, our passenger. Getting ready to go up in our red XTO As Time Flies balloon. John has taken Dakota Sunrise, the yellow XTO balloon.
Now, isn't that one of the XTO folks there?
That is. That's the one in the red balloon. You can actually see the Balloon Fiesta banner on the left side of the basket there.
Yeah,
actually in the basket.
I was referring to the lady in the basket, the one that's so excited. I think she's one of the XTO reps. It might be Deanna, yeah.
And so, and I see the balloon camera on the right side behind her there.
Yep.
So John's going to fly right over. There they go, waving goodbye. You are now airborne.
Yep, this is what it looks like when you take off and launch at Balloon Fiesta Park. And there's Tristan with his good arm waving, and his other one.
Poor Tristan.
The poor guy. What a way to spend your first amazing Fiesta.
And there they are waving.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fabulous shot. Yes. We see you up there. And looking back on the field. Yep. Too many camera angles to show at once here. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
They've got us as well. Have a great flight.
That's awesome.
I love those shots.
Yeah. Part of the fun of being here at Balloon Fiesta.
There you go. It is. It is.
Look at that crowd. Man, oh man, what a great Sunday morning.
It is. And another shot back. So as you take off from the field, you look back down and
you can see how we launch from two parts of the field now. You're looking at the south end there where you see the Touchstone Energy balloon, that white one. You see the Fiesta balloon. And then you look, there's some open space.
And we can see Sherry taking off in the white one.
Yeah, Sherry's just getting airborne as we're talking about her. And then you see that little bit of open space where there are balloons cold inflating. And then back beyond that was where the Rainbow Riders were at, as they were all inflated. So we're launching from both south and north end, which is
and that is Tom McConnell going right over the top of our camera.
Balloon, right as the, it's a convenience we have because this field is literally so large. How many acres do we have here? 80?
80 acres is just the launch field, because the park itself actually includes the buildings where we are, the baseball field south of us and farther on. It's 300 and you see 360 some acres.
Okay.
But the launch field itself is
80 acres of launch space. Yeah. So we have once again our Balloon Meister has joined us here on our tower, or on the rooftop studio, as we like to refer to it now.
Yeah.
Used to be the super secret announce tower, but now it's the rooftop studio. We've upgraded.
Since it's not secret anymore, they're taking pictures of us and
we're showing the world where we are, so can't keep it secret.
Yep. You are exposed.
We are.
Everybody knows, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You're definitely exposed out there on the web there.
And,
it is.
Again, this is the last day. I come by to say farewell
Job well done, my friend.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir. Well
and,
done.
And job well done to the two of you,
Thank
to
you.
all of your staff that's behind the scenes, and to the folks that are out in the field doing all the great work. And I think, did I just not see one of the balloons fly over?
You did.
And it's got your camera in there?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It is.
So
they got our picture. I mean, that's what we're talking about.
That's what I was seeing.
Yeah, that's what
there
they're
it is
looking
right
back
there.
at. They're looking back at us right now. They actually got a shot of us standing here, sitting here.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. What you are bringing to the world of ballooning and all the folks out there is tremendous. So keep up the good work. We're going to have a great show this morning.
We are. And of course, you mentioned our staff, and we have a great staff behind us. You've got a great team working with you as well. We
do.
recognize many of them on the at the awards brunch yesterday, and
Yes.
that program is actually online, so people can watch that.
Fantastic.
See the folks that worked behind the scenes with you,
Well, thank you.
because we're the public face of Balloon Fiesta Live, but there's a whole team of production people, a great production team, Windfire Productions behind us.
And
You're
then
the
this team that
you're the
puts
head
the
of your
event
team.
on.
You're the
Yes.
face of as the Balloon Meister of all the ballooning operations, but you've got a great team behind you as well.
I do. And it's just that. It's that teamwork from all levels that we're able to share our love of ballooning
Right.
and invite the people from around the world to come and partake in it as a spectator and as the pilots. So again, going to be back here next year. Can't wait. It's been a fantastic year.
356 days.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
October the 3rd.
Yeah.
October the 3rd of next year.
It's a red letter day on the calendar
what,
already.
What I'm looking forward to is getting back home and on some downtime, actually tuning in and watching some of the previous broadcasts that I wasn't able to watch. Now I got to experience it live, but I know I missed a lot of stuff that y'all are covering. So again,
You'll need a week to do it. There's about 40 hours
that's
up there.
what I understand,
Yeah.
especially after we end today's session.
We'll be
So,
over 40 hours
Yeah.
as well. Well,
But-
the awards ceremony yesterday has already picked up about 5,600 views.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
people are excited. We've never shown that before. We've never shown pilots briefing before. We did that 3 times this year,
Yes.
thanks to
And
the access.
thank you for letting
Yes,
us have
for
that
letting
access.
us do that.
Yeah.
You
I
bet.
think that will be a normal for us.
A lot of the pilots who are in our audience who aren't here have really commented how much they enjoyed seeing the pilot briefing.
That's fantastic.
That angle from Balloon Fiesta. And I know a lot of the non-balloonists have enjoyed it as well. Gives
That's
them
good.
a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look, because that's something even when you come out as a spectator, you really don't see that take place.
Right.
So it's been
Well,
a
and
great
it helps
behind-the-scenes
explain what's
view.
going on with Brad's explanation of what the weather, yesterday's tall box,
Yes.
the fact that it was going to be a box but slow yet today, and we've been able to talk and show the data that he's sharing
Yeah.
about winds in different directions and altitudes, things. So it's really, really given another insight to what goes into ballooning.
Yeah, and we're fortunate that all of those people take time off of their work and away from their home and family, and they come here and they're able to spend it with us to produce this kind of
As do you.
performance that we do. And thank you.
As
So-
do you, absolutely.
So we'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's not here. You know, wait another day. We'll be home either later today or tomorrow. We miss you. We love you, and we had a great time. And we'll see you again next year.
We'll do it again next year.
Thank you, Glenn.
It's a
Thank you,
Mark,
sir.
thank
Excellent
you.
job.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
To all
Appreciate
your,
help.
all your team. Great job.
All
Those
right.
guys do have huge responsibility to put this event together. As far as the ballooning operations, they make the daily decision whether we do or don't fly, and if we do, what type of flights we do, the type of task for the competition. And yeah, there's a whole team of folks behind the great work that Henry does.
One
as
of the
Balloon
information graphics that we have running on our video walls and on channel 28 around here, and you may have seen out at Cottonwood Mall or somewhere along the process here, is the fact that even if we take the number down to 500 balloons, and we know there's
Right.
like 570, easy math, 500 balloons, 9 days of flying, that's 4,500 flights. And remember that we do this within about an hour or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
This truly is the busiest airport anywhere in the world for this time period.
There's
And
the
so
graphic.
There's the graphic right
Yep.
there. Thank you, guys. Look at this is just great. So think about this, and we're doing this with a team of zebras down there, led ultimately by Henry, who we
Henry.
just talked about,
Yeah.
and his team, and the safety officers as well. So yeah, and this is a conservative estimate if you think about it.
Yeah, we're back on. I was hoping we could go back to that shot because we're looking at several of the balloons from the fleet of special shapes that Andrew Hawley has brought to us from Longleat, from Sky Safari over in England.
Hey.
There is Roger the Panther, which has become my absolute favorite balloon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We also see Adelaide, the Koala Bear, just a few balloons down. The Penguins are in there, Tall Steve, I think. So another quick shout out to my lovely young niece, Roma Holly, Hope she's watching today, watching her dad with Tall Steve and all of the balloons from Longleat flying. And there's another of our ride balloons getting airborne, and there is another great airborne look back at Balloon Fiesta. As the camera pans back out, there's the Zia balloon. And actually, that's looking away from the park. That's looking at the balloons as they travel away. There's a view back from the rooftop studio. You can see that is the Dr. Pepper balloon you're looking at there, the red, yellow, and blue spiral balloon, but the Dr. Pepper banner is on the other side. They are, of course, among our official drink sponsor, part of the family. And let's see, there is the Kashari balloon. We just saw that. Now we've switched views. One of the Colorado flag balloons there. And there are two of those here, actually. And you can just see the other one off to the far right corner. They're the blue balloons with you see the snowy Rocky Mountains in white there, and then once they get airborne, we'll see they have the band of red and the golden yellow sun, the flags of the state of Colorado, or the flag. There they are. There's a close-up of the two of them side by side.
Part of our ride balloon fleet.
Yeah, they are part of our
riding rides there.
Rainbow Rider.
So that's why
group.
they're mixed in with all of those yellows, and you can see how much taller they are.
Yeah.
A little bit of perspective there, but definitely much bigger balloons. There's a shot from our balloon cam.
Is that a baseball field down below?
It's a baseball
like?
field.
Yeah.
That's probably less than a mile south of the field.
Just a little south of us. Yep.
That's General Mills.
The
big building right in front of them. See the blue tower?
I see the blue tower. As soon as I saw that, I recognized it.
General Mills, a nice factory here, and it's always great to smell the cereal being baked in the morning.
When they make Cocoa Puffs, which is a segue to say, by the way, hot chocolate just arrived.
Yes.
On the tower, in the studio. I keep saying on the tower.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get away from that.
We're gonna have to put that name here in front of us.
The rooftop studio.
Hey, we haven't talked about the American Heart Association balloon flying off. There it goes right there.
There it is.
Dr. Pepper getting off on the other side of the field.
Is that Ken Tadalini who's flying that balloon?
I believe it is.
I believe that looks like his balloon. I think it is.
I think it is. I didn't look it up. Just look for the hat.
Yeah, I was looking to see if he had his cowboy hat on. I think that's Ken Tadalini. There goes the Solange balloon team, the New Mexico Tartan balloon, just launching to our left, and along with the Kashari, with that floppy thingy, as Art called it earlier this week, on the side there. Kashari Gallup is the balloon out of Gallup, New Mexico. We've talked a little bit. There's one of the Colorado balloons now in the shot. We talked a little bit earlier today about the unofficial balloon rally that'll be happening tomorrow in Gallup. There's a close-up of the Colorado flag balloon with, again, those Rocky Mountains and then the big red sea and the yellow sun. Doing some we have some guests on the tower this morning in the rooftop studio. Is it in the rooftop studio or on the rooftop studio? On the rooftop studio.
Well, we're also trying to coordinate some interviews here.
Mm-hmm.
Ruth Lynn is going to be talking later this morning with Andy Caton. And Christoph's apart. His co-pilot is up here. So we're trying to get Christoph and Andy and trying to get all three of them together.
Oh, okay.
They are the winners of the America's Challenge Gas Balloon Race.
Cymbaloo. Cymbaloo is the lion from Longleat. You see the registration number there, G Leat. G meaning it is a balloon from Great Britain, and Leat part of Longleat. There's Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty, hoping he doesn't have a great fall today. Sitting on his little brick wall. You can see just a bit of at the bottom of the balloon there. Right next to Scott McClinton in the U.S. Bank balloon.
Scott or Andy?
Well, yeah, good question, actually.
Yeah. There's another one of the rainbow.
Zia balloon.
Rainbow Riders balloons. That one's a little bit different pattern, although you see still mostly yellow. And that's from our balloon cam, looking down. Sundance balloons, again, part of the ride fleet. Pulled together, operated by Rainbow Riders. That's most of the balloons you see in the sky, although there's some others mixed in the middle as we're launching, as we told you a few moments ago, from both ends of the field.
Itsy bitsy spider. There's our preventive pest control balloon with the big old black spider
widow
on the side. Yeah, black widow on the side of the
black
balloon.
widow. Don Moyer flies preventive. And you know, we've gotten it right, preventive. Last year we had one of those blooper tongue colors, and it was prevented. But preventive pest control. Yeah, great shot of the spider on the side of the balloon.
Spinning.
That was a new special shape
spinning
last year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I think last year was its first appearance.
Yeah, looking right down.
Yep.
Oh, look, taking a picture.
Imagine that. There's
Why would
the
you
mustache
take a picture at an
balloon
event
of
like
Zarek
this?
Wells. And I saw Zarek was sporting a new mohawk yesterday. Had a bright blue mohawk yesterday.
It changes colors and
does it?
Yeah. It's almost like, if it's a mohawk, it's Zarek. Don't worry about the color, size, and shape.
Well, you know, Jonathan writes the same way. Jonathan,
Yeah.
and there's our penguins. There's Tall Steve. Hey, Roma. There's Tall Steve with Andrew Holly as the pilot. Just beside him, that is Puddles to the left. That's the male penguin. And then Splash, you just can't quite, you can just see the black top of Splash off to the right there. That's the female. Puddles and Splash got together, of course, and procreated Tall Steve. And yeah, look at that amazing artwork on the carousel. I love those mirrored panels up in the top of the balloon where they appear to be. That's actually just silver fabric, but it gives the illusion of mirrored panels in the top of the balloon. Look at that view from up in the air. What a morning to be flying.
What it is.
Yeah.
And the sun hasn't even made it up, although you can just see it in the out west there.
But
the shadow
it's
is
still
starting
not
to come.
not up above the Sandias, and the balloons here on the field are not yet. You know, once that sun comes up and it hits the colors of the balloon, they just begin to pop, and we don't see that yet. Speaking of seeing, you can see impossible with Canon, and this is the 48th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon. You're watching Balloon Fiesta Live. We are powered by XTO, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. There's a view. That's our officials tower. That's just maybe, I don't know, what, 20, 30 feet away from us, from our rooftop studio. They're just across literally the drive from us. All the red jackets you see there are the officials. That's Henry Rosenbaum, our Balloon Meister, right there in the back. You see him there in the cap. And several members of his team that are there. They not only have to make all the decisions about when we fly and what we fly, but they also then monitor all the goings on the field. They're watching to make sure that pilots are at minimum altitudes, watching to make sure there's no airway congestion, along with all of our launch directors, our zebras. So they're monitoring everything throughout the flight. A whole team of folks there on the officials tower. And you can tell we're beginning to fill the sky with balloons. A nice slow launch this morning, but getting enough balloons up now that we're beginning to really fill the sky.
I don't see them taking advantage much of the box.
I don't either, not yet.
They've kind of gone south of us, and have kind of stopped.
The
It's
Sundance
definitely
balloon
there.
above us is the one to the right here. There's two of them. He's up and moving very slowly, and the Colorado balloon is up high and moving very slowly back to the north, but not a lot of activity in the box yet this morning.
No.
There's
Definitely
Wags
stop up there.
Hey, Wags.
Woof, woof, woof.
Wags is the new balloon of Dean Carlton, who for years brought us his pink zebra balloon. Zebra.
So we saw those winds at pilot's briefing this morning, and at some point they were literally less than 1 mile per hour or 1 knot.
There goes Humpty Dumpty. That's Rich Lawhorn flying Humpty Dumpty.
You can hear that cheer.
Oh,
all the way
there's
up here.
Roger the Panther, my favorite balloon right there. Oh, thank you for that zoom there. Great work in the truck. You guys are top notch. There's the Panther, and here comes Humpty Dumpty.
Okay, so let's see who's up there. It's really Scott.
Is that Scott this time? Yeah, but is he flying or is? Yeah, I guess
he's got his hand.
He's got his hand on the burner. Okay, so
Good
that's
morning,
Scott.
Scott.
Hey, Scott. Going right over the top of us. Here comes Rich Lawhorn, going to fly right over us in the Humpty Dumpty, and then right behind him is Roger the Panther.
We might have to put a handheld camera on us so that we can
yeah,
get those
we
that
can
come
do that.
straight over. Can't
Okay.
quite get our studio camera to go straight up.
Well, you know, I've got my GoPro down in the truck. If we could always connect that.
We need to get a Canon camera do that. But look at that, straight up Humpty Dumpty's. Yeah, you know.
Well, I've got my M50
Snap.
here too.
That would work.
Where we could my Canon camera, and we could connect. It has Wi-Fi capability. We could maybe feed a picture down to the truck.
What a great crowd we have here today as well.
There's Tall Steve, literally sticking up above the crowd. There's Albuquerque. Look at the eyes of the owl peering through the balloons there, waiting on his turn to get airborne.
Formerly known, or in other circles known as Wise Owl.
Right. Oh, and there's the guinea pig, our brand new little special shape.
Our XTO balloons are flying
balloons,
together.
Yeah, flying side by side there, or close enough.
Close enough we get the shot.
Can get them. Yeah, the guinea pig is coming. He's going to cross just over us, and I bet we're going to get buzzed by Tall Steve today too. He and Simbaloo both getting airborne now.
There's your great shot of the guinea pig.
Yeah, a great story behind this.
G-Pig.
G-Pig, yep. A great story behind it is that Andrew and some of his buddies were sitting around in the pub one night and talking about how, you know, sometimes we pick one guy to be the guy that goes up and checks the winds and see if it's going to be okay to fly or not. He's kind of the.
Over here we usually call him
a wind dummy. Well, over there they call him a guinea pig, and sometimes we use that term here in the States, not so much in ballooning, but.
He's looking.
Yeah, there's Tall Steve, and so they decided, well, wouldn't it be cool to have a real guinea pig balloon? And so now we do, and he
you just saw it. There's looking down. Is that looking down on the balloon? Oh no, it's just the
no, that's
Arroyo.
the Arroyo to
that's
the west.
The Arroyo there. Yeah, because there's the trailers was General Mills.
Right.
So they're less than a mile south of us.
Yeah.
And they took off quite a few minutes ago.
So moving pretty slow.
Yeah.
There goes.
And there's a few more balloons overhead taking advantage of the box and starting to come back.
Now we've got almost the whole fleet from Longleat coming over the top of us. There is Splash. There's Tall Steve.
They're waving at us.
Yeah, Andrew's waving at us this morning. And there is Simbaloo. There goes Puddles, the other penguin. There's Adelaide, the koala bear. All of these special shapes brought to us by Andrew Holly from Longleat's Sky Safari in England. And by the way, they have a really fantastic pen that shows all 9 of the shapes that they brought here. The cheetah, the panther, the koala, the penguins, the lion, etc., etc., the guinea pig, and you can get your very own if you log on to www.thehotair.store. They're limited quantity, so they're going fast, but it's their special Balloon Fiesta pen. Has a Zia on the pen to symbolize that it is New Mexico. And there's the cheetah, probably the last of the fleet getting airborne just over the top of the field today.
There we are. Just had another great shot of Dakota Sunrise fly our yellow XTO balloon.
Yeah.
Hard to take a picture of your own balloon when you're flying, when your camera's in it, but so you get someone else's, so it's great we have 2 XTO balloons.
Yeah.
A red one and a yellow one. And we talked about Doug Gant and hoping that he got his flat tire fixed on his trailer. He obviously did, because there is Hamlet, the pink one.
Yeah.
When pigs fly. Although, okay, so they proved me wrong. They take a picture of our own balloon, they shoot right up in the envelope.
Yeah.
While they're flying.
I remember my good friend Bob Corey years ago talked about media flights, and he always said, you know, let other people fly the radio, or he said, I'll fly the radio guys, but I don't want to fly photographers, because if he's flying the photographer, he's not going to get any pictures of his balloon.
Right.
And
yeah.
so
you fly the talent, someone else
he
flies
would fly
the
the
camera.
talent or fly the radio
Whatever.
people, and then let somebody else fly the cameras, because that way his balloon would get on camera or have a better chance of getting on camera.
Of course, yeah.
If you're flying the cameraman, the odds are you're not going to be on any of the coverage.
Yeah, just some of the setup and takedown, but not all the great flying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning. Can please write the store address? The store address is www. I'm sorry, let me get back to it just so I make sure that I tell you that correctly. It's www.thehotair.store. Okay? www.thehotair.store. That's where you can get those the Sky Safari Fleet pins.
And if you're looking for Balloon Fiesta merchandise, official Balloon Fiesta merchandise, just go to balloonfiesta.com.
Absolutely.
Click on the merchandise tab.
Yep. Yeah, you can buy all of the official merchandise and the pins online for Balloon Fiesta.
Everything that hasn't sold out.
That hasn't sold out, yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten over. I was talking with you and your wife last night about one of the wind chimes I saw that I really would like to get for my deck at home. And I'm hoping I'll have time once we're done this morning when we sign off, that I can race over and see if they have any of them left in the merchandise tents.
Oh, look at the great time they're having. Hi, Deanna.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hey, and that little blue
Gorgeous
box.
day today.
Oh, yeah, that little blue box that's between them, that's a Digitools.
Yeah.
That Zarek won yesterday.
Zarek won one of those yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're having a great time up there.
Yeah. Dos Equis is airborne. I don't always fly a balloon, but when I do, it's Dos Equis. And Scott Appleman actually flying that balloon. He's the head of...
Look at the gathering of people down south.
He's the head of Rainbow Riders, but he does double duty flying commercially for Dos Equis.
And there he goes. And there goes Doug Gant.
There goes Doug Gant when pigs
Hamlet.
fly at Hamlet. You can see the sun is now high enough that it's beginning to reach, just barely beginning to reach some of the airborne balloons. Not yet.
There's a
on
great
the ground
shot of
here.
Doug in the basket. As we pull back, you see the feet. And there's the logo, www, When Pigs Fly.
And I'm guessing that next year here at Balloon Fiesta, we'll see those Hamlet for President pins again.
We might. We might.
Since it will be an election year.
Hamlet is looking to relocate to Albuquerque or Rio Rancho as well.
Well, Doug spent quite a bit he was out a week or two early, ahead of Fiesta. A month.
He was out here a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I was watching his social media, his Facebook pages, and he was posting a lot of activity doing flights.
Good morning, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah. It's nice to have them come right over us.
It really
slowly,
is.
because most of the time this week,
a couple of times they were zooming
us.
by.
They have.
Yeah, there goes the Coronado Center balloon, and of course this all began at Coronado Center back in 1972. A little gathering of 13 balloons has now launched what you're enjoying and have enjoyed all week long here on Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. There's a great shot of the Coronado Center balloon, birthplace of Balloon Fiesta. There's a look at that. There's downtown. Whoa. There went one of my napkins, a little gust of wind all of a sudden. Put my hot chocolate on top of those.
Toby Brown flies the Coronado Center balloon for us, otherwise known as Crystal Blue.
Okay.
This is the carousel taking off. You see just the red at the bottom. Now we're starting to see the white clouds
Now
looking
you can
things.
see the
and
animals.
there are the
There's the lion, the
in the
unicorn, the zebra.
And that building in the background is our Sid Cutter Pilot Pavilion. That's where the hospitality is for all of our pilots throughout the week.
Right.
It is available for rent through the rest of the year because this is a city park and a city facility.
Yeah.
So there are lots of events that take place at the Sid Cutter Pilots Pavilion throughout the year. Great shot of the front side of Hamlet now.
Yep. Cannon balloon also getting airborne. This, of course, is the 48th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta presented by Cannon. And they're a great bunch of folks to work with. They have a huge marquee here where they display all of the latest cameras by Canon. They have a Canon camera loan program. You can walk in there and check out a camera to go out and take some pictures at Fiesta if you forgot to bring yours. If you bring your cameras out, they will go through them, give them a proper cleaning, fix anything that might be, if you have a problem with a lens or something, they can probably fix that on site for you. And they even have, I know they used to have, I haven't been over there to see, do they still have the deck in the back where you can go out and look through some of their super long lenses and shoot some of their cameras?
I believe they do, and they also have a gondola with a backdrop inside, so if you can't get in a balloon to get a picture, you can
get
fake
the picture
one over
made.
there.
And of course they provide you and I with these fantastic binoculars that we use particularly during competition days to help spot balloons and the banner numbers. And
or who's in the basket.
Or who's in the basket, yeah.
So we just
great
saw
help to us.
Albuquerque go by, and there's in the buff the Plains Capital Bank balloon.
That is Barry Ballinger flying that. We were joking the other day. We had Barry online. Ruth had Barry on for an interview, and on one of those very cold mornings, I think it was probably Thursday morning, and or Friday morning, and we were joking about whether or not the team really flies in the buff, because they do have T-shirts that say, "We fly in the buff." Speaking of flying and into some unknown territory, Ruth has corralled our
Caton.
gas-winning balloon pilot, one of the two, Andy Caton.
Actually, she's got both of them.
She has Andy and Christoph? Okay.
She's got them both. So Ruth,
outstanding.
Take it away.
Yes, I have Christoph Sopard and Andy Caton. They won the America's Challenge gas balloon race with an amazing flight up into Canada. Andy, tell us about the decision to cross into Canada and why you went there instead of landing in the United States.
Well, the French team that was in front of us played it well. They landed just at the time it would require us to pass them. They knew we would be in the dark. So they knew that we either had to land at the last road like they did, or we would have to go into Canada and then beat them, and then probably we'd be in the dark. So we had to make the choice whether to land with them, which would have put us behind them, or go for broke, take the race, and hope that we could land after that. And we attempted it, but the conditions were just too dangerous. And once the sun set, the moon was behind the clouds, what moon we had, and there was, even if it had been broad daylight, there was just no place to land. So we flew through the night knowing that as soon as the sun came up, we did not want to be out over the Hudson Bay. So instead of flying as fast as we could, like we've been doing for the past 3 days, we shifted in, let's slow this sucker down and go as slow as we can through the night, hoping that we weren't going to be out over the Hudson Bay when the sun came up.
Oh my goodness. Now, Christoph, when the sun finally did start to show up, what did you see in front of you in Canada?
It was amazing time for us because we see just the tundra and just nothing, because we flying high level over the clouds, over the fogs, and we thinking just for our navigation items. And if we going down, we made the decision, okay, we will try to land. We're going down, and we view just the last 100 feet. Oh my gosh, it's the last river, last point without some wet floor, and we hit really slowly for this place, and the wind. That's all. That's amazing.
And how far were you from the nearest road or the nearest other person?
The helicopters that came out of the diamond mine, De Beur's diamond mine, was about an hour and a half helicopter flight. So we were a good 150 miles away from anything, the first road or the first person. And then when they flew us out of there, the first town was 300 miles away. So we were pretty far out in the boonies.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, this reminds me of your last America's Challenge flight where you went up into Labrador. Didn't you have a similar experience then?
Yeah, we spent the last night and 3/4 of the next day before we saw any kind of human civilization of any type. But there we knew when we got to the East Coast there would be people and plenty of roads, and it was. I mean, we had people standing there watching us land the balloon. So that worked out really well. We flew farther last year, flew longer, but still came in second place.
So this year you did win the race. Talk to me about the balloon. I mean, it's still up there. What happens next, Christoph?
Balloon now is staying in the tundra because the rescue pick up us from the tundra to mining, and told us, okay, we back for balloon later, but they never do later. When we drop off us on the mining, they give us the plane to the nearest city, 300 miles. That now balloon is on the tundra and waiting for help for pick up balloon next week, Monday, Tuesday. We'll see what happened.
And hopefully it's not all covered with snow by then. Now, when you said the helicopter or the aircraft from the diamond mine took you to the nearest city, how big was that nearest city that they took you to?
They took us back to their mine, and that was the only civilization up there. There happened to be a King Air dual-engine airplane that was there, leaving at 3 o'clock that afternoon, and they told us we would be on that airplane whether we were, or we would fly another airplane in, which we would have to charter for just us at our expense, but we were not staying there overnight. The security there was extremely tight, and they made it very clear that we were welcome, but not for long.
Well, but then they took you to Timmins. How big is Timmins, and where did you go from there?
Well, Timmins is about a quarter of the size of Albuquerque. It was 300 miles away, and pretty much they said, we were very grateful for the ride. We basically just hitched a ride with the people that just happened to be there, and after that we were on our own. It took us 7 hours the next day of driving. We took a rental car and drove 7 hours down to Toronto, which was the first place we could get a regular airplane flight to come back here.
Oh my goodness, what a journey. The return was longer than the flight itself.
Much more grueling.
But now you have those beautiful glass trophies, and we have more stories for the record books. Christoph and Andy, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. Congratulations.
Thank you so
it was
much.
an amazing
Thank
trip.
you. Blessing for all Fiesta guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And back up to you, Glenn and Art.
Thanks, Ruth. Pass our congratulations along to Andy and Christoph as well. And thank Andy for the fabulous basket tour video he sent back as they were crossing from the U.S. into Canada as well. Christoph was sleeping during that, so we got to sneak in and see what it's like to be in a gas balloon as you cross from the U.S. to Canada, flying on that incredible race. I guess it was announced at the banquet last night that they were so many miles from nowhere, as opposed to being so many miles from the nearest town. Sounds like an incredible flight. Congratulations again, Andy Caton and Christoph Suppart, the winners of the 23rd America's Challenge gas balloon event. So again, we are Balloon Fiesta Live here, powered by XTO, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. I'm Art Lloyd Jr. along with my colleague Glen Moyer, and we continue to work our way through our farewell mass ascension this morning.
What a flight it is this morning, too. Now the sun has come up and lighting the balloons up in the sky and also beginning to strike the field. And it always becomes an even more colorful spectacle once we get the sun up.
Coming right at us, the pink one with the white banner and the pink hearts. That's Hearts of Fire,
yes.
Brad Rice.
And I won't tell the story.
I'll just mention that on the other side of this balloon is the Cottonwood Mall banner. And Cottonwood is the other mall. We mentioned Coronado before, where all of this started. Cottonwood is the West Side Mall. It's a home of Park and Ride. And we have a really nice look. Hey, he's waving at us from up there as well. So, yeah, they've certainly moving slowly to get time to wave at us today. There's a display about the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta in Cottonwood Mall. If you're in and around, go check it out.
Absolutely.
There's the rebuild of the original Fiesta balloon.
Yep, we talked about that yesterday.
We did. It is now airborne.
A little bit of an odd shape, too. It's not exactly a racer. It's not exactly a traditional teardrop balloon.
That was the model for what was going to become a new brand of balloon.
Also high overhead, if our stage camera can get a shot of the balloon that has the green, blue, and red verticals there just on the right side of the field here. There it is. That is what we call a cloud hopper, ladies and gentlemen. He's waving on cue almost as if he can hear us. Notice there is no basket. The pilot simply sits in a little swing seat with the propane tank and burner assembly strapped to his back. And it's a little small one-man balloon, and those are lovingly called cloud hoppers. Just wanted to point that one out to you since we had such a great opportunity to get a good shot of it flying just overhead.
There's Smokey Bear.
Right, and it is not Smokey the Bear, it's Smokey Bear.
Let's see here. And Judy Nakamura and Alan Wynn are sharing the piloting duties of Smokey this weekend.
Wags is getting airborne. He's in the shot there, just disappearing behind that other balloon.
Peekaboo, Wags.
And but we can see him from the tower here, from our studio, as he climbs up above that big line of balloons that stretches all the way across the field from east to west.
We still see you,
from
Wags.
the main street all the way out to the Arroyo. Wags, as we said earlier, the new balloon of Dean Carlton.
And from that shot, you can kind of see the 3D of his nose.
Yeah, you can see the nose is 3D, and the artwork is really incredible. I've told the story before how the family, that artwork is modeled after the family's 2 dogs, and they took literally hundreds of pictures, they said, sent them to the balloon builder, and kept having minor revisions done to the artwork until everyone was happy. And if you're up close to that balloon, it looks just like that puppy's just going to jump right out of the balloon at you and lick you. Really, really fun balloon. There's Beelzebub.
Yep, I saw that a few minutes ago.
Probably
we had a picture of it on the screen.
Probably didn't mention it because you've had a hard time with its name.
Well, actually, I was dealing with other things, and actually, when I saw it on the screen, Ruth was talking with Andy and Christoph.
I know. I'm
just heard
giving
a
you
huge
time.
cheer from the field, and if you look to the right of the picture,
Oh,
there
look
goes
at this.
center stage.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they've been airborne this week.
Might be. Beth Wright
think it
Smith
is.
flies the center stage.
That
the
is
Wells
Wells
Fargo
Fargo.
coach.
Yep.
Wells Fargo, a longtime sponsor here at Balloon Fiesta.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about this before when our special shape days. At the bottom, you see what would be the normal part of a balloon. And if you just imagine a regular shaped balloon going up in the coach, you can see how much dead air or colder air or non-lifting air is there. And inside when you look up inside, you'll see that shape, and you'll see all the baffling and lines to hold the balloon into a square shape.
If you look at it from here on the field right now, you can really see it. You can see where the front wheels and the driver's seat, all of that area, and then the area in the back, the covered part where usually the mail pouches and the baggage was stored. All of that is just add-on appendage, but you can actually see, just literally envision the standard shape of the red portion, the actual passenger cab portion, is literally just a round balloon with appendages built onto it to create the special shape. And within almost every special shape, there is a round balloon that really provides all the lift. All of the other stuff, all that makes the shape, doesn't really provide any lift. It serves no useful purpose other than graphically to create the shape, but it doesn't actually help the balloon fly any better, or in some cases it may make things a little more difficult, but
definitely makes everything a lot heavier.
Yes, absolutely.
Ruth Lind is caught up with another one of our board of directors. Ruth, take it away.
Hi, I'm here this morning with Jim Garcia. He is on the board of directors of Balloon Fiesta, has been for quite some time. And one of the things Jim does in his role on the board is to produce training videos for pilots and crew. Jim, tell us about what you're doing this year with these training videos.
So, thank you, Ruth. And thank you, Art. Thank you, everybody, for coming out here. This year, what we're doing is we've added some additional training. So for advanced customer service training, we have volunteers that come from all over the world, actually, to train or to volunteer here at the Fiesta. And we thought it would be a lot easier if we would let them do the training online. So we did these videos, and they actually go through a little series of training classes on customer service and how to intervene and how to make good things happen for the guests that come here at Fiesta. So it's been a great addition. I get a lot of people that see them and comment about them, and it's been a real easy way for us to train our 1,000+ volunteers.
Goodness, and you make it mandatory for all of us, even the ones who are not in customer service roles, to see those videos before we can work at Fiesta. And you do a great job. You're so dynamic and fun. You make them enjoyable to watch. But tell me why these videos are mandatory for everyone and not just the frontline customer service people.
Ruth, that's a great question. I've not been asked that. I love that, because every one of us has the opportunity to make a difference. And sometimes the best customer service happens when you least expect it. I mean, the number one question asked by a customer here is, where's the bathrooms? And for all of us to be on the same page, looking after the same interest, giving that great Southwestern hospitality. I mean, this is $177 million in economic impact, just gross receipts tax alone. So for us to be able to all be on the same page, for us to all create that moment, you might just be that one person that makes their entire day. And so I tell people, look for opportunities to make somebody's day even better. So customer service happens sometimes from the strangest places, but We are in the middle of magic here, and a lot of the magic happens because of the people that are developing, training. I was talking with Alan Tetrault last night about how all of this gets orchestrated and how many people have to do the right thing. So we tell our people, make good decisions, because you may be the last one to make that right decision for that guest.
That's wonderful, and I can tell you that even though I primarily work in the command center and here with the Balloon Fiesta Live team, there have been several times this week where I've said to myself, gosh, I'm glad I watched that video, because a guest has asked me for information that I never would have known had I not seen the video. So thank you for the work you do to make Balloon Fiesta a very welcoming, happy place for our guests.
Well, you know what? This is great for all of us. And, you know, I love this live. Oh, this has been so fantastic. I've been monitoring also on an earpiece, and I love that. So you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for doing it.
Oh, you're welcome. Glen, Art, we'll send it back up to you and watch some balloons down here.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
Thanks, Ruth.
So some great comments coming in on our field, and we appreciate those comments from Jim Garcia as well. He's the little earpiece he's talking about. We're piloting a way to get our audio signal to every single person here without turning speakers up and annoying the neighbors. So we're piloting a system here that basically like a little radio that you'll be able to listen to on the field. So we're going to be checking that out. That may be something that shows up in the future.
Every single person? You mean every spectator out there?
That may be a possibility.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be the big end of things. It might just be our pilots. We might make them available to some spectators
I
for
knew
a cost.
I knew we were
or
testing
it might go the whole way.
I knew we were testing for the pilots, for example, to be able to hear the countdowns for the glows and things in the evenings a little easier.
But if it were to work well, then everyone can be carrying along their own, and we have the ability, which means we got to learn another language, to do this in multi-languages as well. So that would be an interesting one. Hey, while Ruth was talking with Jim there, we saw our yellow balloon, XTO balloon, Dakota Sunrise. We saw that one land and
deflated. Someone said seeing it collapse was so sad.
Yes, it is. But all good things must come to an end.
Yeah,
At least this is just temporary. We'll be back in 356 days.
That's right. Yeah, just a slight pause in the action, as it were.
A great shot there of Phillips 66 being flown by Paul Petrin and one of our round Wells Fargo balloons.
Yeah.
Either Ted Mays or Ron Sanchez flying those.
And suddenly the field looks a lot clearer than it has all morning. We're getting down to the final few dozen balloons to get in the air.
Our balloon camp still doing workout in the field. I think
there
that's
comes
out
the
there.
balloon coming in for a landing right there. You see one of the crew for a nice touchdown, stand-up landing just across the fence. Nicely done. So our crew is doing that, and
another one coming right in.
Meanwhile, we're getting
gives you an idea how congested it can be.
Yeah. But also how wonderful the flying conditions are this morning, because two really nice, just easy.
Look at that, right next to each other.
Stand-up landings right beside each other.
Oh, Rainbow's Rider balloon, and I saw this banner for Safe Light Auto Glass. The box is getting a little bit stronger, so if you hang out there, it's a little bit easier to get to the north.
Wow, look over to our right, though.
Yeah.
There's where all the action is.
There it is.
Look to the east and behind us. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all...
So the sky is still full of balloons. The field is emptying out rather rapidly. We're now beginning to get a good view of the size of the crowd here this morning, as we can see all the way down to the north end through the balloons now on the field.
What a great picture up. We'll get that shot for you. There's Off Your Rocker.
Off Your Rocker from Gourmet Rocky Road.
There's a whole lot of them coming back over the top now. The box is definitely set up. It's a little slow up there on top.
Out on the field, I can see Smurf is beginning to inflate. He's right behind that round Wells Fargo balloon, and there is Bonnie Blue.
Right behind it.
Right behind it. The balloon that is sky blue, royal blue, and white. Boy, it won't be but just a few more minutes, Art, and I think we're going to have the field cleared of everybody that wants to fly. I don't see any more inflations ongoing. One maybe at the far, far north end. I can't tell if they are
right in front and one far out.
If they're inflating or if they have landed and are deflating, but It has gone by. To be such a slow morning, the inflation and the launching has gone by really quickly.
Zoom.
Just all of a sudden, you know, we were looking at a field, just packs of balloons, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, they're all gone, and there's just a few left to go.
But they're going to have a fabulous flight.
Oh, yeah.
They are having fabulous flights.
And with it as slow as it is, I don't know because of the size of the crowd, but the officials may open the field up for landing.
I would
to allow
think
some of those that have boxed back over to land here at the field if they'd like. Although right now, most of them that are flying the box, or at least a majority of them, are well to the east. There are a few directly overhead of us.
Well, there's this layer to the south, and then I'm trying to tell if it stops and then goes east and then goes north. It's kind of one of those light and variable days
it really
as you
is.
look up. I mean,
because these couple of balloons that are sort of mid-level look like they're kind of going to the northeast, more at a diagonal, and then higher above, you get the flow back to the south.
Yeah.
So there goes one of the Wells Fargo balloons now.
They have 2 of those round ones, so they've got all 3 of their balloons in the air today. Another one of those corporations that has seen the value of marketing through hot air ballooning.
Through hot air ballooning, yeah.
Because they take those around, as we talked with Barry Ballinger and the Great Plains Bank. He usually hangs out in Texas because that's where his bank is
Right,
based.
that's where the bank is based.
Yeah, so the Wells Fargo guys go to the cities and towns and states where there are Wells Fargo banks.
Yep.
As Wells Fargo likes to say, they like bringing smiles to their customers.
And we know for a fact that XTO has certainly seen the value of marketing through hot air ballooning this week, as they've been our sponsor here for Balloon Fiesta Live. And
that is them packing up the red
Yeah, there
one.
they are packing up as time flies.
And you see, I tried to do some marketing there too. I put a Balloon Fiesta Live banner on the side of the basket.
Right.
So we just had a great shot of that. There's Penny. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Penny.
Thanks for the great shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. The straps go around the balloon to help
I was about to
keep the
say,
air out.
that, yeah, they use those Velcro straps because you streamer the balloon, you squeeze, as we call it, all the air out, and then you use those Velcro straps to wrap the envelope every few feet to keep air from getting back in it, and that way it helps to pack the balloon and make it much more compact when you pack the empty envelope back into its storage bag.
It's amazing how much space air takes up.
It is amazing, yeah.
There's one of those shots of all the balloons up.
Yeah.
They're kind of just looking back over the top of us because I see Smokey Bear.
Right.
And if I turn around and look, there's Smokey Bear up there. So this is basically looking over our head.
Yeah. Looking past us.
Hi there, kids.
That's cute.
You're on Balloon Fiesta Live. They can't hear me probably.
Can't hear us probably, yeah.
There's Smurf and Bonnie Blue.
And Bonnie Blue. Nice little combination of those 2 balloons together
they
there.
Look nice.
The blues and whites.
Bonnie Blue was originally the balloon of Sid Cutter's grandson.
Yeah.
He just decided not to continue flying. So Frankie Martinez from Los Lunas has it now.
I remember talking with Sid's grandson when he first bought that balloon. I always liked the name Bonnie Blue.
Well, and Frankie tells us that he keeps the name at the request of Chris and the family.
Well, I was going to say, I sold one of my balloons, Coyote Moon, a few years ago to my good friend Greg Taggart, who is here and stopped and said hello just briefly yesterday during the award ceremony. We were busy and I didn't have a chance to chat. But the envelope is now, I guess maybe the entire system, I've forgotten, but it's for sale. But he did the same thing. His balloons prior.
Beautiful day, beautiful landing, perfect balloon fiesta.
Outstanding. That's
So
one of
happy
our XTO folks.
That's Deanna.
And but his balloons always had the name Jack. He had like a high jack and jumping jack and things like that. But when he bought mine, he kept the name Coyote Moon. And in fact, I shipped out with the balloon. I gave him all the pins I had left and the patches and shirts, anything I had, all the swag that you get when you're a balloonist. So I gave all that to him as well.
The XTO person, the one we just saw.
But he kept the name Coyote Moon. A lot of times pilots will buy a balloon and then rename it as their own. So nice to see that Bonnie Blue has kept her name, and I was pleased that Greg kept Coyote Moon, kept her name.
Well, when I bought my first balloon, the name of that balloon was Damn I'm Good. And,
and so, of course, you kept that.
I would have kept it anyway, but they asked that we keep it.
Yeah.
People knew that balloon. That's what happens. You recognize a balloon,
right.
you put a name to it. If you change the name, then you confuse people.
Yeah.
So by keeping the name, that helps out.
There's
and people still remember that balloon.
Yeah, there's some folks out there with the Mounted Patrol who are a great group. They're out every year helping with security here at Balloon Fiesta Park. And everybody loves to have their picture taken with Mounted Patrol.
They do. There's actually a couple of Mounted Patrols out here.
Are there?
I think that was the Albuquerque Police Department unit. There is a Bernalillo County and a search and rescue group out here. One of them has some really fancy pins this year celebrating an anniversary of them being out here at Balloon Fiesta.
I didn't think to do. Excuse me, a 30th anniversary pin, although you very kindly on our official announcer pins noted my 30 years on my announcer pin, so thank you for that.
You bet, sir. Thank you for 30 years of your commentary here at the Balloon Fiesta.
Oh, it's been amazing.
By the way, there was a shout out to you on our Facebook page from, I think it was a niece of Tom Rutherford. Tom Rutherford, of course, your partner for many years.
Yeah. Gosh, I hope Tommy's doing well. I haven't had a chance to get in touch with him in a while. Tommy was always so gracious. I mean, this was his gig. He was the original voice of Balloon Fiesta.
He was there at the first one.
And there
was
were
him and Sid that put this together, basically.
And there were co-founding founding fathers of the event, but he was always so gracious when they went through a few odds and ends types of announcers working with Tommy for the first few years, and then when I came on board, he was absolutely so gracious. Didn't know me from Adam, and over the years we became great friends. And I'll always treasure my friendship with Tommy and the fact that he allowed me to come in and become a part of this. And so, so thank you for that shout out, and please give my best to Tom. I miss him.
So
we had 25 great years together here.
You betcha. I'm honored to be the one who replaced Tommy because he did a fabulous job for all those years.
He did, and to your credit, you have stepped in and done a wonderful job. And I would have no qualms, as you know. I've certainly recommended you to other events around the country when people call and ask me for, who's a good announcer out there. And I'm glad to know that if at some point I should decide to step down off the rooftop studio, don't have any plans to do that anytime soon. I'm going to hang in there at least through the 50th, I hope. But I can rest assured that it's in great hands with you taking the helm and the job you do as executive producer. You make my job so much easier. I'm just a guy that shows up and talks. You do all the hard work.
Well, it helps that I'm here all year. I can make some plans, and obviously I'm now a part-time member of the Balloon Fiesta staff.
Well, and you have the media background to do it. I mean, Tom lived here. I've never lived in Albuquerque, so I'm always doing this from afar to a certain extent, and can't spend a lot of time working on the project that we do up here through the year. Tom always certainly did some of that, but he was a politician by nature and state senator, and but
among others.
You have the media background to really get deeply involved in this, and fortunately now Fiesta has seen the wisdom to have you on staff, and it makes a great deal of difference. I don't think we could produce Balloon Fiesta Live if we didn't have someone like yourself in the role that you do.
Thank you. Welcome to the Mutual Admiration
Yeah,
Society.
We'll just pat each other on the back here for a while we fill.
So, of course, we're waiting for an interview with our XTO folks here.
With Deanna out there with XTO.
Hopefully we can still get that in place. But, Balloon Fiesta actually has, we talked with Janie Jordan earlier, who's the field services manager.
Right.
She is a year-round employee. Her assistant, Damien, is a year-round employee. But there are actually only 18 members of the full-time
staff.
Well, it's year-round. I'd like to say it's year-round because a number of those, like me, are actually part-time yet year-round.
Okay, I got
But 18 staff members who work year-round to put Balloon Fiesta together. And as Janie mentioned, we bring lots of people in on seasonal basis, and then we depend a lot on the 1,200 volunteers, which we call navigators, to put this together. So being on staff and being at the weekly staff meetings throughout the year helps me understand what all the other places are doing, and for them to understand how that can fit into Balloon Fiesta Live, and it all works together. That big goal, all those cogs coming together. I've been around Balloon Fiesta for like 35 years, and I have learned so much more in the last couple of years of being on staff with all the different pieces that I kind of knew they were there, but I didn't really know how they fit into all of it. And I have a much better understanding of that. And I think they do now of what we do up here and what it takes to put together a Balloon Fiesta live
Yeah, and
show.
I think it increases, I think there's an increased value or understanding of the value of what we bring to Balloon Fiesta, both on the public address system and clearly on Balloon Fiesta Live, with literally the million-plus views that we get generate each year. I had a similar conversation yesterday afternoon after the awards banquet with my good friend George Hahn, who was honored with the to be brought into the, was it the Heritage Award or Hall of Fame?
No, George is the Heritage
Award. Okay. I had not seen George in a few years, and it was brilliant to see him again to begin with. And we had that same conversation about, there's so many people that you see and you know the face, and you think of them as sort of a face of Fiesta or one of the key people out here, and they are key people. But he made the point of saying, it's really the behind-the-scenes teamwork of a huge group of people to put this event on, and that's so true. I'll always remember a conversation I had with George when I was a rookie pilot, and we had this discussion earlier this week about whether Fiesta requires a minimum number of hours to be able to register as a pilot. And that discussion was going on back in the, I got my pilot's license in 1990, and it was going on even back then, and we had a discussion around the table one evening at a safety seminar about that, and George Hahn was the guy who said, I think I quoted him, or at least referenced to it the other day, that said we don't have a minimum hours requirement because if the FAA says you're certified to fly a balloon, you're certified to fly a balloon.
Right.
And that always stuck with me. There are events that do require pilots to have a certain number of hours, and you and I discussed how we do look into a pilot's experience level here because you have
flying
to fly
at
altitude, flying in congested skies.
Airspace.
But you can come to Fiesta as a new pilot. I flew here my first Fiesta with 30 hours.
Yeah.
And you can do that, but they do look at to see that you have the proper type of experience to fly in these conditions. But that conversation always stuck with me with George. So we're going to go out to our XTO balloon and chat with, I think we have Deanna with us. Good morning.
So they tell us that pack is...
The battery pack may have just died. They said make it quick because it was dying.
All right.
So I think we had a nice selfie of Deanna, but maybe that's all we're going to get this morning.
Hey, the smile as she took off from here, the
said
smile
it all.
at the end and packing up the balloon there. Sorry we couldn't get that interview with you there, but we've been using that battery pack now for 2.5 hours on all those great pictures from the balloon. Of course, that was one of the cameras that was out there at pilot's briefing early this morning as well. Some really very nice comments on our Facebook feed here, including one from our buddy Benny Boss, who says that really Balloon Fiesta Live is the media of the future, being able to bring this kind of broadcast to the entire world through the World Wide Web. Of course, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon over in the Netherlands where he is, so he's just been kicking back in a nice afternoon, watching it on his big screen. Benny, certainly appreciate you watching and your comments, as well as the comments from Susan. You can't quantify how wonderful you make this experience for the rest of the world.
Arlene Weiss says, hi Art and Glenn, thanks for an awesome week of very enjoyable and very insightful coverage. I've learned so much about hot air ballooning in the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, which I have been watching all week on your Facebook live feed. I live in Maryland and hope to come out there someday for the entire week of festivities. Just love the special shapes, Glowdeo and Morning Ascensions and Team Fast Tracks. Thank you, Arlene, and it's our pleasure, believe me, to bring this to you, and great fun doing so. We do have a good time. We hope that comes through in the broadcast, that above all we're having fun, because that's what Fiesta is all about.
It is. Even our competition from the early days has always been about having fun. I think it was Bob Ruppenthal, a former board of director member and president of the organization, who said the person who wins at the Fiesta is the one who has the most fun.
I think so. And it was Bob Ruppenthal who called me 30 years ago. I had met Marge the year before during Fiesta in 1989. Ron Berman introduced me, and I expressed my interest in coming out and being a part of the announcing team with Tom. And a few months later, it was Bob who called me up and said, you know, you said you were interested in coming out and working with us at Fiesta. Are you still interested? And I said, yes, sir, I am. And the rest, as they say, is 30 years of hot air. I won't say history because I don't know that I've made any history out here, but I've certainly shared a lot of hot air.
Got 30 years. I hand out my personal balloon cards to folks, and I tell them there's more hot air on that card than all of the rally. And,
I could probably.
I don't get an argument.
I've probably produced enough hot air to inflate an entire balloon fiesta at some point in time.
Just looking overhead, and everybody is just hanging there.
Yeah, and there's just one balloon still standing on the field. Everyone else has inflated and launched, and so the crowd now milling around, making their way to Main Street, doing a little shopping. Last opportunity for that with all of our fine vendors here.
If there are closeout deals, they're happening right now.
Yeah.
If there are.
A lot of times there aren't because they sell
right.
out of so much stuff.
That's exactly right.
That if you wait, if your strategy is to wait and buy things in a fire sale, as it were, at the end of the week, sometimes you're just out of luck because so many things sell out early on.
They do. This is one of those days that while I thoroughly enjoy being here, this is a day I would love to be up in the sky.
I knew where you were going with that, and I would say the same thing. I don't miss flying as much as I thought that I would, but there are days when you think, boy, I really would like to be back up in my balloon, and today is one of those days.
We're just kind of giving you a nice big shot of the sky, but I do see my friend Ralph Kaiser overhead. White with the
Ralph's celebrating 30 years here,
he
right?
Is. That's exactly
where I was. It was his wife who brought, his sister. I keep trying to marry those two. His sister who brought up those lovely cupcakes yesterday. Thank you for that again.
Name of that balloon is EOS. Ralph has been helping us for a number of years with the pilot safety video. We heard Jim Garcia talk about the customer service video.
Right.
Ralph has been putting the video that we show all the pilots have to see before they can fly
the safety
here.
Video for them.
It's a safety briefing. It reminds them of aircraft frequencies and what areas they can fly in, at what altitudes, all of that good stuff. Just a good reminder for those who have flown here and for those who have not to kind of express what those rules and regulations might be. Do you think Admiral Nelson's going to bring his purple balloon down here on the field?
Well, he might. Yeah, it looks like he's beginning to descend a little bit. Might try to come back and land. The crowd has certainly moved well off the field by and large. There's still a lot of people out there milling about. Some of which are probably balloon chase teams out there, but I'm sure that
I think we're gonna have.
I'd be surprised if we didn't see the field open for landing. I don't know if we've heard the official word, but I would guess that it will be open.
I have not heard. Somebody spotted Tammy Foley and Tamo. She's out there off to our left.
Yeah, I saw her launch, but we were busy and didn't get to talk about it at the time. Talking about landing on the field, though, I have a sneaking suspicion a lot of folks are going to want to stay in the air just as long as they can today. It's that kind of a day where you can fly a nice, long, easy flight, and it's the last day of Fiesta. It's kind of a bittersweet time to say goodbye. A lot of us will be saying goodbye to friends that we only get to see once a year when we're out here. And, you and I don't get to see each other that often. We occasionally get to get together at another balloon event somewhere, but a lot of times, for a lot of friends, this is the one time a year they see each other out here. So it's kind of bittersweet, and you kind of just want to stay in the air and hope that it doesn't really have to end.
That's it. Or, unfortunately, your drive has been just long enough that you packed your balloon up early this morning, get it down, get it up because you got to get on the road.
Like Scott Vesely, who had to pack and get away. I've got to load up some gear myself that, I brought some gear out for Andrew Holly and his fleet to use, and so I've got to hook up with them once they're back on the field and get that loaded, and then I'm going to stay overnight and get on the road tomorrow morning. Probably going to try and see if I can't drive straight through. It's a long drive by myself, but it would get me home late Monday night instead of Tuesday.
So they are telling pilots that they can land on the north end of the field.
On the north end, okay.
Which
that end is pretty
typical.
much open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened to Admiral Nelson?
He's still up there.
Oh, he's back. He's going up higher.
He came down just a bit. Now he's kind of back up where he started.
So he may have just gotten that word.
And he may be trying to move a little further to the north end of the field before he
descends.
That way, yeah, I think that would be the case.
Well, what a way to end.
What a glorious day. I mean, this is what Fiesta is all about. It's this kind of weather. It's cool, but not bitterly cold. The sky is just brilliantly clear. There's not a cloud. No clumpy clouds today. And, it's just an absolutely awesome day, and it's what the Chamber of Commerce likes to promote when they talk about Balloon Fiesta. We've been joined on the set with a couple of our very dear friends and colleagues, Ruth Lind and Kim Vesley, who have been doing awesome reporting work for us. Thank you both. Such a pleasure to work with the two of you again.
It's been so much fun. I love this job.
Well, we're glad you're with us. Final thoughts about what you thought about the whole week? How would you wrap it up?
This was a spectacular week. We've had terrific weather. The interviews went from, I think for me, the most heartfelt interview was the one with the Whitaker family, with Matt's family. And then this morning, talking to Andy and Christoph after that amazing gas flight, the whole spectrum of everything here on the field never gets old.
What about the witch?
She was scary.
If you haven't seen that, you got to go back in the archives and check out that interview that Ruth did with.
That replay was playing this morning.
Was it? Yeah.
You were pretty scared with that.
Well, we were just driving down the field. We were on our way to the arts and crafts tent, and she leaped out in front of us and scared me half to death. So I said to our driver, RJ, RJ, you got to stop. We really need to do this interview.
Have you counted your fingers and toes to make sure you have them all?
I have most of them, yeah. I have most of them left.
And Kim Vesley, what about you? What do you think about the week?
Oh, it was a wonderful week. A beautiful fiesta. And it's always a big family reunion. For families that are families in ballooning, for people that just come back to Fiesta every year. Fiesta is, it's about spectacle and beauty, but it's also about people. And I think that's the big thing that has sustained me through all the years. And so many of the people I've talked to also was very involved in the America's Challenge, and just the camaraderie of that entire group. They work together to keep each other safe. As Mark Sullivan put it at the awards last night, it's a really a cooperative family until the last few miles of the race when the competition kicks in. But ballooning is all about sharing, and we've had so much of that out here this week.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have shared yourselves with both Balloon Fiesta Live and with the America's Challenge. Ruth, you were running the command center, and so you guys have done double duty for us this year, and we appreciate you making that happen as well.
We love it. Both Kim and I, we have very different roles in the command center. Kim works with the press, and I work with the balloon teams and my staff in supporting the balloon teams. And that is, I remember when I was flying gas, just how wonderful the command center was, and I'm so, so grateful for the opportunity to serve gas ballooning in that way.
And we got great access inside the command center here on Balloon Fiesta.
It helps to know people.
It does.
Yeah, well, you couldn't be outdone because Henry Rosenbaum let us get on the tower for pilots briefing in the morning as well.
Yeah.
So it is definitely come together here as well. So I think it's time for us to wrap this up. We still have a lot of balloons in the sky, but we're basically done here on the field. And we could rattle on and on and on, but I think it's just time to...
We've probably done enough hot air amongst ourselves anyway.
There's more hot air on this tower, I think, than there is out on the field.
We were just saying that, it's...
well, and I hate to go with this next part, but we're all balloon pilots.
We are.
And I think I added this up last year, that among us we have more than 120 years of balloon piloting experience. And we all have a media background, so we all have almost that much media or about that as well. So I think this is made for a really great team, and we've proven it for year 2 now of what comes together.
And I think our audience has recognized it. I saw some comments talking about how They really appreciated the expertise that we as a team bring to the broadcast that they don't get even from the local television broadcast, because we have that ballooning background. We understand what this is all about. It's our passion as much as it is the people that we're reporting about.
So we want to thank all of you for watching. We want to thank XTO for being a sponsor of our balloon. And, oh yes, we're going to do that too. Thanks to XTO for being our sponsor here, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. We have great fun with them. And for those of you who have been watching us on Balloon Fiesta TV, TV 28, that's been a low-power TV station we've had around here. Yeah. We have to tell folks that if you're watching us on TV 28, as soon as this broadcast is over, we will be turning that signal off as well, as we have to pack up and move on our way as well.
For most of my 30 years up here, I've always signed off with the balloonist prayer. I don't know if that's what you're referring
exactly where I was headed. We had to get all the legal pieces done.
Very good.
And then, ladies, if you will join us as we do the balloonist prayer.
May the winds welcome you with softness. May the sun bless you with its warm hands. May you fly so high and so well that God draws you in your laughter and sets you gently back into the loving arms of Mother Earth.
Until next year, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again on Balloon Fiesta Live at the 49th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta presented by Canon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You've been watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO Energy, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. Always in October and always in Albuquerque, the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon, is the world's premier ballooning event. Make plans now to join us in person next year and again in 2021 for the 50th edition of Balloon Fiesta. It's going to be epic. This program is a production of AIBF Inc.